I just feel like, couldn't I just cut my own hair? How hard is it? Wait, by the way, hairdressers, don't come for me. Just don't fucking come for me.
We're not saying
I know
cut
how
our
hard
own
it
hair
is.
well. We're saying could we cut our own hair? Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. It's not advisable. It's not for me. It's not for me.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Hey.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm recording from the kids' house today because I'm moving.
I know. People were very curious about that online. I think you mentioned it in passing that you were moving to a different
Apartment.
Casa Kismet too.
Dose. Casa Kismet dose.
But people must have missed it.
People missed it. I
Yeah.
get it. You can't keep up, guys. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not moving back to LA. Here's what it is. The apartment across the way from me opened up,
Right.
which I have to say, I had said out loud multiple times, if that 2-bedroom apartment with the huge balcony opens up, I will take it.
You'll snatch it.
That's what I said out loud. Not to anyone in particular, just in the world.
to
the
yourself.
universe.
Yeah.
And then it opened up, man. And then I was kind of like in a holding pattern a bit because I was like, I don't know if I want to deal with this, you know?
Yeah.
But it didn't get rented. And then it ended up just being like a thing that it just sort of happened. And so you got to like be open to the universe letting you know when things are just happening and you're just like there along for the ride. Just do it.
Yeah. And so it's across the hall, down the hall?
Down the hall. Mm-hmm. I could
Nice.
see into it from Casa Kids.
Oh my
Which, by the
God.
way, I've been like trying to get somebody to take Casa Kismet because it was like the greatest apartment of all time. But because of the writer's strike and everything, most people that I'm friends with are like, yeah, I'm not going to be moving anytime soon. I'm just going to stay put.
Right.
Which is
Understandable.
I get
Yes.
it. But it is
Yes.
such a cutie place. And I hope that the people that end up renting it are nice neighbors. Because, you know, but yeah, it's also going to be interesting because it just is. It's going to be interesting.
Now, here's what I'm curious about. You keep saying that you're going to miss your hallway mirror. Is that because
really
the
am.
mirror stays in the apartment?
It came with the apartment. It's like definitely one of those things that was like, you know, whatever, like caulked on to the, it's like you can't even see, it looks like it was like built onto the wall. Like you can't even see a possible way to get it off. There are no like nails or screws or anything.
It's just
it feels like somebody like glued it on to the, or it was like a piece of mirror and then they like just put a frame around it. I don't even know.
it's permanently grafted.
It's permanently on that wall.
All right.
And
is it just the size of the mirror that you're going to miss?
that mirror is great. It's just it was a great mirror. It was a great
Sometimes
full
there
length.
are good mirrors, right?
Yeah. No,
Sometimes
everybody knows
mirrors
that.
have like, I don't know if people do know that, but I feel like I think of it as vibes. I'm like, this mirror has good vibes.
That mirror had such good vibes. I like loved that mirror. I really did. I'm going to miss that mirror the most. I mean,
oh man.
I also a little bit, even though it's just next door basically, and it's so much more space and like it's got a huge balcony and whatever. I don't know. I, for a second was like, I wish I had infinite monies and could keep both. Like a crazy person. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But I'm going to miss the wind. There's like such weird breeze that comes through Casa Kismet, that like crazy breeze that I feel already this other place is not getting the same thing.
Yeah, because it's not like a corner, right? Like Casa Kismet's like a corner.
It is a corner. It's the other corner.
Yeah. Okay.
But it also
we'll
does have like a jut out. It's awesome. It's like a great, and there's a dishwasher.
That'll be a life changer.
It's a little bit of it's a game changer for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. It all sounds good. I get the instinct to want to keep. I mean, I've been thinking like about my mom's place and wanting to keep that place, but you can't keep everything. Here's what we're learning. We can't keep everything in our closets.
Can't keep everything.
We sure can't keep every apartment or house that passes through our life.
And the other thing is, like, I do feel a little bit like, a lot of people, the transition, everybody who's listened to this podcast for 10 minutes will be like, yeah, no, we know, busy. The transition for me of moving from LA here was so challenging for so many reasons. But I definitely was a person like who I grew up in a house in Arizona that my parents, like, we lived in from first grade until I went to college. And then my parents sold it after my freshman year of college. And I felt like gutted and devastated when they sold the house and moved out.
Right.
Like, there are certain people. I have Colin and Sam are friends of ours. Well, Colin, my ex-boyfriend / good friend. Like, they're people that have moved many, many times. Like, different houses, different cities even. Well, just New York and LA. But, like, they've, like, moved a bunch. And in a way, it's sort of, I was talking to Ellie Kemper because sweet Ellie came over on Cricket's birthday party day.
Oh, great. I'm glad she actually made it.
She did. You guys, I am going to post a picture of it if she gives me permission. Because what happened was she ended up having a conflict for the birthday party time, which I think is better anyway, because it would have been like, I think it just would have been too much with like other kids and stuff. Yeah. And so she very sweetly was like, can I come over for coffee in the morning? And I was like, that would be amazing. So she came over for coffee. We were hanging out and talking. But she was saying, her kids are little. And she's like, I feel so bad for them. Like, we've lived in 4 different places, da, 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 da. And I was like, I don't know. In a way, I kind of love it because you really understand that home is where your family is, not the physical place. When you're raised in a place where you like move frequently or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I feel like I have formed such intense attachments to places.
Yeah.
Because in my, origin story as a child or whatever, I was in the same place. I was really in the same place for my entire formative years,
Right.
So I don't know. Like, I think this is challenging me a little bit, like, to continue to keep moving.
Yeah.
But in a way, like, it's all part of whatever this fucking process is for me right now. And like, I'm dealing with it, I think it's good. I do think it's good.
I think it's good too. I also lived in the same place for all of my formative years, but it was like, if I'm being honest, like a little bit of a haunted house. Like, I know that I've shared the ceiling falling off the ceiling story, but there are many.
Here's what I'm going to say. Like, is anything in Massachusetts not haunted?
Massachusetts
for real.
Like, I think people think of the South as very Gothic.
No.
Like, you hear Southern Gothic. Massachusetts is
the most
so
haunted place
Gothic
in the country.
And so haunted. Mm-hmm. And
I just feel like bad shit happened to like everyone in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I mean, like the people are haunted sometimes. But yeah, my house particularly growing up, like, I couldn't wait to get out of there. And it was actually kind of weird because I had 2 cousins who subsequently, like, one rented the house from my mom and then another cousin bought the house from my mom when the other cousin was done renting. So it never got out of my family. And I did feel like that house was a little bit of a curse to me personally. Like, I mean, listen, I'll put it in a book, I guess, someday about how cursed that house was. But yeah, I do feel attachment to like where my kids grew up. So we do still have that house in Connecticut and we rent it to very nice tenants. But I don't even know if I asked my kids, like, are you super attached to this house? Like, if we didn't have renters who wanted to continue renting forever. I know landlords, everyone hates landlords. I never aspired to be a landlord, but these people really wanted to rent the house and they really don't want to own a house and they were adamant about it. So, but if I asked my kids, I wonder what they'd even say, like if they would even care if we sold the house or if they're particularly attached to it or if they feel like you're saying, like, family is where your home is.
Well, one of the things my therapist and I talk about, one of the things that I talked about at Hoffman too, and that like my Hoffman Drew teacher was like, one of the things he wished for me was to feel at home in my body, to feel at home with myself. Like, because, to feel home is such an interesting concept.
Yeah.
And, Emily was here a couple weeks ago. Guys, so much has happened this week. Also, happy Pride to everybody.
Yes, happy Pride.
Fucking happy Pride. But also, like, so BB was here when all the discussion about my thyroid was happening, Yeah. And we were talking and I was saying something like I was getting upset about the idea of home and moving leaving Kismet or whatever.
Yeah.
And Emily was like, Busy, don't you remember, like, you have said this as long as I've known you. And I was like, what? And she was like, I remember sitting with you at our first apartment in LA. Like when she first moved to LA, we lived in this apartment in West LA. That was pretty shitty, but like really fun.
Yeah.
And she's like, I remember sitting with you after you had like come back from Dawson's Creek. And you said, like, I just want to feel like I'm home. I just want to like go home. And this doesn't feel like it. And she was like, you've been feeling that way as long as I've known you. And I do think like Drew at Hoffman nailed it like almost immediately with me and was like, you need to feel home in your body. You need to feel home in your brain.
Right.
And in yourself. And I don't know why some people don't feel home in themselves.
Yeah.
But I just, I feel like I've been searching for so long and I'm like,
right.
It's going to be a place. It's going to be a person. It's going to be a thing. And it's like, no, I have a family.
It's going to be you.
It's going to be me. Right. Right.
Like Justin Timberlake said.
It's gonna be me. Is that it? Did I get it?
Yes, I think so.
Wait, so I got my thyroid thing done.
I know. How are you feeling? How's
good?
Is it still
it's also
very
like,
sore?
The internet is so weird. Like, also because I know that people were very like wondering about the move, and then I didn't really explain the thyroid thing on Instagram because I felt like I had explained it.
Yeah, if you want to know,
the podcast,
subscribe,
but
and
people
download.
were like, "Oh, I've had so many needle biopsies, the worst." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, me too. That's not what I just did."
Right.
The needle biopsy led to the Herthel cell discussion.
Right.
It was super weird. I had kind of an emotional week last week. Like, it just was a weird week. I had a weird fucking week. Like,
yeah.
Well,
tell me about it. That's what we're here for. Tell me all about it. What you can.
Well, I was asked. The ACLU made me an official artist ambassador for reproductive rights, which was really
Congratulations.
exciting.
That's really cool.
I know, it's really cool.
And smart of them.
That was really nice. It was really great. And I love working with ACLU, and I'm excited to do more stuff. I'm going to go to Ohio in the fall, early fall, for some ACLU action.
What city?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
Well, I like some cities in Ohio, so I was just curious.
Well, you'll come with.
Okay. All right.
We can do a whole thing.
Okay, great.
Also, Amber Tamblyn was like, I'll come. And I was like, great.
Oh, she's so great.
She is great. She was supposed to be on our podcast, and then the scheduling, something happened.
It didn't work out, yeah, but hopefully she'll come on in the future.
I'm sure she will.
Yeah.
She is great. Anyway, so that was exciting. Birdie graduated from 8th grade.
Did you cry the whole time, or were you chill?
I'm sorry that it sounds like there's an elephant stomping. Can you hear it?
I can hear I thought it was like Venetian blinds blowing in the breeze, but it's
God, this just drives me fucking insane.
Yeah, I can hear it now. Maybe no one can hear it but us.
Can you hear that?
There's an earth smashing machine operating in my neighborhood right now, so you'll probably get to hear that.
I can't hear that. That's okay. So so for whatever reason, so in this house, in the townhouse, like I'm on the essentially like the 3rd floor, and Mark has his personal space on the floor, his bedroom and stuff on the above me on the 4th floor. His Mark cave. That's actually not him right now. It's we have our housekeeper is here. Thank God.
Okay.
So for whatever reason, and I will figure it out at some point, but I just haven't. I don't know. Like when the light fixture was installed, something needs to be like shored up a little bit in the light fixture.
Yeah.
Because it's like when anyone is walking heavily above in Mark's room, the light fixture just goes like dum, dum, dum.
It rattles. Yeah. It's like
rattles.
when you're driving in your car and you hear like a noise, and it just like a rattling noise, and it gets louder and louder on the highway until it feels like the fuselage of a plane is like breaking open, and then you realize it's like a pen in your cup holder. And you just like take out the pen and it's fine.
That's exactly what this is like. And I'm sure that if I had like a ladder that could reach the light fixture, I could like slightly twist one globe and it would like stop
or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know.
100.
I don't know.
But it's I mean, how many little things do we live with that?
Oh, I mean, I live with all of the things. All the time.
That's just that's so typical of me to be like, yeah, that light fixture's been rattling for a few years now, and then have someone just like get up and get on a ladder and fix it.
God, oh my God, this is like actually driving me fucking insane right now. Actually driving me insane. Wait, so
you got the thyroid thing done. It was super weird.
So first was the ACLU thing.
Yes.
And then
tell yourself that you like that noise.
Mm-mm.
And it's comforting to you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-mm. Nope, it's not. I hate it. Athletic Greens. Oh, Athletic Greens. You know how much we love you. Because Athletic Greens has a product that we use literally daily.
Yes. And by the way, I saw someone drinking their Athletic Greens out of like an Athletic Greens bottle, and I like gave them a thumbs up. Like,
I'm so surprised you didn't try to high five.
I mean, it's
I'm surprised that you didn't say.
They don't know me. They don't know that I'm a fan.
But I'm surprised you didn't say, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day right. Good for you, dude. I would give you so much money if you did that next time, please, please.
Oh my gosh. Well, I felt that. I hope they felt that from my thumbs up.
The thing is, guys, we love Athletic Greens. We get excited when we see it in the wild because for all of the reasons. Like, it used to be that I had, well, you know, I went to the doctor that gave me all the supplements, and he was like, just take them throughout the day. And at the end of the day, I had only taken 2 and I had 17 left. And it's just so much easier for my lifestyle to do a scoop of Athletic Greens in water. It tastes delicious, or a smoothie. I can add it to a smoothie.
Right.
And it's just a small thing that has big benefits. You can do it daily, And it's like taking all of these multivitamins and supplements and all these things. Plus, it costs less than $3 a day. And people love it. You don't have to take our word for it.
It's not just us. And by the way, in case you were wondering, it's totally lifestyle friendly. If you're on a ketogenic program, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, you can use Athletic
Less
Greens,
than 1
no
gram
problem.
of sugar.
Yeah.
Less than 1 gram of sugar. No GMOs, no nasty chemicals, or artificial anything. And that's what another reason why I love it. It doesn't taste artificial.
Right.
Or like chemically.
Or bad.
And it just tastes good.
Yeah.
It just tastes good. It's like pineapple-y, like fruity. I don't know. I love it. I really do. I really do, guys.
Same.
Right now, it's time for you to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/busy. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/busy to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Myleo.
I'm so excited to have a Myleo account because of all of the extensive photography and photographic history of my family that I unearthed in my mom's home.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine how helpful that's going to be. The truth is, between Mark and myself, our photos of our kids had previously been on 47 billion devices.
Right.
Different devices. And we wanted to be able to consolidate them into one place. And that's what Myleo does. So guys, if you need a tool to help organize and protect your photos and your videos from across the years, that's what Myleo does. And I cannot recommend it enough. It's a very smart and powerful system for managing all of your memories. It's the Myleo Photos app. It can store years of photos, videos, important documents, even from all of the devices.
Right. Everyone who's
authorized can access, but it's just one shared library. So everyone in the family has access and there's no cloud storage required. So the files are private and safe. And you can search by anything, the date, the person, the location, the keyword. It is a true game changer. And I think that as all of us continue, we have all these devices and you've got these, it's like, where does it all go?
Right.
My mom had boxes and boxes of photos from when I was little.
Yeah.
But that's at least we knew where the boxes were.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm where are the pictures of Birdie as a 2-year-old? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And then Myleo is the answer. It really, really is.
One of my favorite features of Myleo, I just think it's such a cool thing, is that it'll even help you try to figure out who a person is in if you have an old family photo, based on other photos that you have in your Myleo library, it'll say I think this is your Aunt Paula.
That's amazing. I do love that. I love that. I haven't utilized that yet. I need to try that.
It's very cool.
That's very, very cool. Guys, just trust us. Myleo is the photo storage solution you've been looking for. It was what we were looking for, and I bet you're looking for it too. We've arranged a special limited time offer for our listeners. Get 25% off your first year of Myleo when you sign up for an annual plan. To get the offer, go now to our special URL, myleo.com/best. That's MYLIO.com/best. Get 25% off your first year at myleo.com/best. Okay, so
ACLU.
Hold on, I might have stopped. Okay, first was the ACLU thing. Jen and I went to do karaoke for a second. Okay, wait. This was a whole fucking situation, and it really bummed me the fuck out. So Jen and I went to do karaoke after the ACLU. This noise is killing me. Can you hear it still? Not right.
I can hear the light fixture shaking, but
Okay. Let's start again. The whole thing.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. So like last week was just a really fucking weird. It was just weird and emotional and weird. But I went to this ACLU thing that was like in combo with Harness, which is the thing that America Ferrera does.
Oh yeah.
Which is great. It's like she has this organization called Harness, and essentially they like inform artists about social justice issues that are happening and ask them to be participatory in activism, which is just fucking awesome. And I love it. And so the ACLU was partnering with Harness on one of their sort of like educational for artists evenings. And so I had that. I went to that. And then afterwards, Jen was like, let's karaoke because there's this place around the corner from where you are. And I was like, I'm in. And I started live streaming it and we were having fun. And then Birdie lost her mind because I was like out with Jen and I put it on Instagram and she felt like it was like hurtful. It was very hurtful to her that I didn't want to hang out with her. And it's very hard to be a parent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also was like, I wasn't going to stay out that late. And it was like, I had the ACLU thing. But specifically, she had gone to see The Little Mermaid that night with Tallulah, who's like the babysitter / friend that we love.
Yeah.
And she knew, because when they told me about their plan to go see The Little Mermaid, I was like, oh shit, I want to go see The Little Mermaid. That was, it's my favorite movie from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then Tallulah texted me separately and told me the night that they had gotten tickets for. And I was like, oh, I can't. I have this ACLU thing. So then like Birdie like turned it into her, like made it in her head that I lied about doing this ACLU thing to get out of going to The Little Mermaid so that I could go karaokeing with Jen instead. And like, it was just like the stress of literally like she was graduating from 8th grade. Do you know what I mean? Like and
she's channeling other stress into
she's
this.
14. You know what I mean? So like, even though Birdie is so, in so many ways, like, so you can get tricked. She's so smart and articulate and like knowledgeable about all kinds of things. She still is like a kid sometimes.
Right.
And she had gotten out of the movie and they were in the cab on the way home and she turned on Instagram and saw that I was live and then saw me and Jen doing karaoke in this like karaoke room and like jumped to 17 different conclusions.
Right.
And then decided that she was like painfully hurt by me, And it was just one of those things like where I was feeling super bummed, like about all of my life choices, like like truly, like not like just the existing in this time at this in this moment in history, like with this technology and stuff is like so difficult to navigate, like for everyone.
Yeah.
And that it like didn't even occur to me. That didn't even occur to me that Birdie could see it and think, by the way, I had been at the ACLU thing until literally 3 minutes earlier, but like it doesn't matter. Like the truth in those things, like in those situations, like when you get your feelings hurt or whatever, like the truth so rarely matters. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, 100%. Like,
but it just felt like, it was just like, it would just felt like, it was like a bummer. It felt like a fucking bummer.
That happens in my family. The inventing a story about what's going on happens in my family a lot. And it's something that we have had to work on a lot with various members of my family. Like, the only way to get the real story is to ask someone what's going on. And by the way, like, you can't come into it upset about what your idea of the story is already, you know?
And also, yes, as an adult, we can do that.
But it's hard
But it's hard even as an adult to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, guess who's doing it in my family? We're all adults, so. you know?
Oh, that's true. That is actually true.
So
But I'm just saying, like, yeah. And then so for Birdie, yeah. So then it just was like, I was just bummed. And then a bunch of people showed up from the ACLU thing that I was at.
Yeah.
And then I just was like, I gotta go because I can't. And then I felt like I don't know. And then I felt like I was a bad friend to Jen. I don't know. I just was like,
it's like a moment ruiner.
It was a moment ruiner. I got I was just like, and then also like Jen and I drank a bottle of sake really fast.
And P.S., when you come home in that, like after having your moment ruined like that, like it's not a happy homecoming either, you know?
No,
so
but like
there's no winning in that situation.
No, it really, and yes. And there's like, you know, and there are just dynamics of me and my, and Mark, like where it's like, it's tricky still to like figure that stuff out, you know, because he was like a little bit like, what is this mess you made? Like, you know, and I was like, I don't know, fucking figure it out. And he was like, well, it's not like, I don't want to. No.
Yeah, I'm not involved in it.
Yes. And while I get it, I also was like, fuck you. Figure it out. I'm like, but then I was also like, whatever. So I had to go. And then I was bummed about that. And then I just was like, because I felt like I was like a bad friend and a bad mom. Like, you know, like we talk about how like when you're a working parent, especially working mom, especially, I mean, you just have days where you're like, I'm a terrible mother. You have other days where you're like, I'm a terrible worker bee. Yeah. And then some days you're like, I'm bad at everything. And then some days you're like, I nailed it all.
Right.
I was having just one of those days where I was like, I literally can't do anything right. Like I hadn't seen Jen in so long. And like, we both have had a bunch of stuff. Like I just wanted to like hang out and have a good time with her. Also, like anytime there's that kind of conversation, Birdie will be like, I'm gone in 3 months. You won't have to worry about me at all.
Well, can I tell you something?
A little bit. I'm like, Birdie, I'm never going to not worry about you. And also, you're never going to be gone totally. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Right. If I may share something, and I hope that anyone involved in this story doesn't mind that, but when I agreed to take the job to come to the West Coast to do Busy Tonight, that was not without talking to my husband and making sure that he could transfer his job. Lincoln, if Lincoln had said, no, I want to stay in my high school in Connecticut, that would have been it. That would have been the answer. That's it. But he said, no, I actually think it'd be interesting to transfer high schools. And then Eli was given the option to come west with us as well. But he wanted to stay in college where he was, and he had a girlfriend, and he wanted to stay on the East Coast, and that was his choice. But yet, it was the couple months leading up to it where we were gonna part ways for a while, just put distance between us. It was really difficult. And everything that either one of us did led to something that wasn't about that thing. You know what I mean? Like my birthday was shitty. Like he didn't come to my birthday dinner because he was doing something else. And, you know, and I was like, this is to punish me. And, and I think like both of us were feeling that way. And finally, I was talking to my friend Ashley, who we mention a lot on the podcast, and she was just like, what's going on with you? How are things? And I was saying, like, it's been really rough between me and Eli, not everybody else, even though everybody else was going. It was just between him and me. And she was like, listen, I don't know what the solution is, but can I just tell you something? Like, I'm in my 30s. My roommate's in her 30s. She just told me that she's moving out to, like, be with her partner, and I'm being mean to her, and I can't stop myself, you know? And I just was kind of like, after she mentioned that, then I noticed, like, that I have even friends who, like, when they would come to LA and, like, we'd either work together or visit each other or whatever, parting is difficult. And there was a time, too, when I was like...
Listen, Shakespeare said it. Such sweet sorrow. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a thing that we gravitate toward doing. Well, I mean, you know,
No, I know.
Gurian used to always try to get in fights with us when he would like leave. Does he mind that we're saying this on the podcast? When he would come work on Busy Tonight.
Oh my God. I forgot about this. I forgot about this. And it's my favorite thing ever. It also does make me like love him so much.
Yes, because he's like so human. He was like having feelings about, he would come work on like Busy Tonight for like 8 weeks or whatever away from home. And then he'd have to go back to New York to like do his regular job. And then next thing you know, he'd be like, I'm so mad that you didn't have lunch with me. You guys got hamburgers without me.
Right.
I'd be like, I'm not going to get in a thing with you because, like, I know that you're just sad that you're leaving and we're sad too.
Right. Right.
It's just a thing that people do. So
it's so true. It's so true.
I know it's not helpful because I'm not offering you any advice for how to head it off or whatever, but I just hope that like in the moment where it's happening, because I guarantee it's going to happen a million more times before the time, that you just like can say to yourself, this is just a thing that people do.
And it's a thing I do, historically speaking, too. Like we all do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I left a job one time and I thought I was leaving on such good terms. And my boss was so mean to me, like in the last 2 days. Like they really tried to be so nice and so cordial through the whole process of leaving. And then in the last 2 days. And then I just remember like I remember specifically the person being like, you are terrible at making coffee. And I was like, why bring it up now? Like, I'm not. It's the same for everyone. You put the grounds in the thing and you press the button and coffee comes out. Like, I'm not doing it any different. But like, also, why bring it up now? What, like, then I'm glad I'm going. You know what I mean? But it was like a thing. Like, they were trying to start a thing so that I could be like, well, good, then I'm leaving. You know? And they could be like, well, she always sucked at making coffee. And it was just a way of like.
It's funny that people do that.
Yeah.
So Birdie did that to me a little bit. And
I'm sorry.
I was feeling, oh my God. It's okay. I mean, it just was hard. It's been, it just was hard. But then also like, there are things that are difficult for me to remember how to be an adult and a parent and not a teenager still. Like, I do feel like that is one of my biggest struggles as a parent is being a parent and not a teen.
Right.
I'm so youthful, guys, in so many ways. But also, like, I was having, like, a real reckoning with, like, weird boy stuff last week, too, where, like, I think the full moon was sort of activating the realization of my one sort of consistent pattern that, like, I really thought I had dealt with in Hoffman, and then maybe I didn't do as much work as I thought I had, and maybe I need to do a little bit more. But just like the like people who just aren't as interested in me as I, getting like sort of wanting unavailable people, like people who are like not able for whatever reason. They could just not like me, or they could, who fucking knows why anyone does everyone's a weirdo. Like, who knows why anyone does anything, But I like feel like I was sort of dealing with that, like just dealing with that in my, almost like just in my head. Like nothing was happening. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It wasn't like there was anything happening. I'm not dating, guys. Please. Who? I don't even know. Like, apparently everybody just meets online because no one knows how to like even be a person anymore. You know what I mean? Like, right. But I'm not dating. Anyway, the point is, I just was having this like reckoning with myself, like looking at patterns and things. Yeah. Anyway, so that was weird and hard. And maybe it had something to do with my throat. I don't know. Like, I always believe in these body connections with the stuff that's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
well, it's
course.
hugely emotional too, you know? Like you're just so vulnerable. Like literally someone's at your throat, you know? Like it's emotional.
yeah, that was intense. Yeah, and then Birdie graduated from 8th grade, and it was adorable and great. It's a little too long.
It always
This
is.
ceremony, I was like, definitely could have cut like 45 minutes out of it. I had cuts. I had notes. And she looked adorable in her vintage dress, and her friend Bevy looked adorable. And the gym was also freezing, which is like, just, I hate that. It was like comedy temperature.
I'd prefer freezing than boiling, but
okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I feel like
that's
I can survive longer in cold than heat.
Yeah, same. That's true. That's true. But I did have to leave my little folding chair and go back to a window. And I was laughing.
Sure.
I was thinking of you because I was like, I could see the security guard checking me out. And he's like, what's this lady doing? And I was like,
She's
don't
just
worry,
pressing
sir.
herself to the sun.
I'm just trying to curl up in the sun like a lizard. But it was really sweet. And then, yeah, I had my thyroid thing. And then that was, it was on the full moon day.
Yeah.
No, wait, full moon was Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was Friday. And I was a little bit like, Mark took me.
Yeah.
Someone had to take me because I was on a lot of Xanax.
Yeah.
Because they don't put you under, because they actually wanted me to talk during it a little bit, so that because it's so close to my vocal cords, I guess.
Yeah.
But like that made me kind of weirdly sad in a way, like having him be the person to take me and be there with me.
Yeah.
Just like all my life choices, guys. I was just calling in to question all my life choices. No, I'm kidding. But just like to give you an example, like it's so far, it's in the Heights, like Columbia Medical, whatever, is like super far uptown.
Yeah.
And so we had to be there pretty early because they like squeezed me in first of the day.
Yeah.
And so we drove, because even like an Uber is so expensive to go up there.
Right.
We drove, and I was, as soon as we like got off, I had been there before, obviously, for my like appointment with the doctor.
Yeah.
And so I was like I was like, I think you park right over there. But Mark like couldn't just do that. Like he had to like go, or, you know.
Yes.
Yes. I was like getting so frustrated because I'm like, we're not married. Like, you're my friend taking me to this thing. If I were your friend, you should just, who's getting a procedure done, you should just go where the friend points to fucking park. So that I was like kind of running late, like because he had to take his sweet ass time to make sure that was the lot that you park in, which it was.
Right.
And it just was like this stress. And I got so upset about it. And like, because again, it's like, it's not about that, you know?
Right.
And it's just, we do a really good job, I think. We've been doing in recent times a good job of adjusting our relationship so that it's not how it was like when we were a couple.
Right.
But it makes sense, and it's like friendly and like good, like close, but it's not the same.
Right.
But that was just that was like a perfect encapsulation of like why I don't want to be married to you.
It was a throwback.
It was like a real fucking throwback. And it made me like, when I'm about to go in to do this really scary fucking thing, like just, and then I was just like, I just wished Emily had been, like, I just wished that it had been somebody who could recognize that like I was like really stressed about it, and to just fucking turn right and park where I told you to park. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Because I feel like any other friend would do that.
Right.
And
would
it just
hear.
would hear that. And like, it
Yeah.
just made me upset. It like just bummed me out. He's so wonderful. And this sounds, I have to be careful because I feel like talking about this shit, then that's the other thing. I'm like the same thing. Like, I'm like, have I just done my entire life a disservice by like,
Well, listen,
talking and doing, like I talk about everything. I'm like,
here's what I want to say is that I hope that
who's
Mark's
ever going to want to be in a relationship with me?
I hope that Mark's not upset by this because I think this is like a classic relationship thing. You know what I mean? And I will say, and I hope that I'm not fucking something up by saying this, but in his defense, on a surface level, you were saying, I'm okay. This is fine. Like, I'm not worried about this. I heard you say it myself a million times. I'm not worried about this. So if that's the message that he was getting, like on face value, and he wasn't like reading between the lines the way like another friend might be able to like read your face or read your mannerisms or something, then like, yeah, that's an issue. And then I've been in this situation personally a million times where I'm like, don't you know me? Don't you know that like what I'm saying with my mouth isn't the same thing that I'm saying with my eyes or my body? And like of all the people in the world that should know me, you should know me, but it's a tricky thing. And I hope that Mark's not upset by you sharing that. And I hope that nobody's upset because again, I think it's a thing that happens in relationships where you're like,
and
why
friendships. It's not just like romantic or
right
or formerly romantic or whatever. It's like
whatever
it happens in a lot of. I know that this is. I know I've been guilty of it myself with friends.
Yeah. Don't you?
I think
can you not hear me?
Right. But I also like I've struggled so much in my life of like. No, I'm fine. When I'm not fucking fine.
Right.
And it has been a struggle for me to admit when I'm not fine and be sort of more open and honest with people about that. Then I had a situation with a friend over the weekend where I was like, hey, this thing happened. I feel weird about it. Like it was just like a dumb thing, right? Like,
yeah.
And we're not that close, but I just felt like I don't know. I just wanted to like clear it up because I felt like it could have been misconstrued, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like everybody's had those things.
Yeah.
And nothing, didn't hear. And then like got like oh, sorry, I've just been super busy. Like I got like I've been really busy. To be fair, like I know my friend is like fucking going through some shit.
Yeah.
And so trying to like mine is my need more. You know what I mean? Like, is my need to make sure that it's okay.
Right. Like, am I asking them to stop and comfort me when they don't have the space for it?
Yes, exactly. But it just like put me in this whole fucking tailspin a little bit.
Yeah.
The full moon was just a bitch.
I think
and then we ended up talking yesterday and was like, totally fine. It was a little bit like, I'm sorry I didn't have the space because I am going through all this other shit and but you're a good friend and what you know what I mean.
Right. I was going to ask you if you thought the full moon was doing this because I have had not a week like that, but I have had an unusual number of people like reaching out to me really wanting to be comforted about something that they remember as like an incident where I'm like, I don't even remember that at all. And like, to be honest, like it's not even a blip on my radar because I have my own shit that I'm going through. So like, thank you for the apology or thank you for the concern or whatever. But like, I had already moved on and forgotten that it must just be something in the moonlight.
I think there was something to it. Yeah, energetically or whatever. Like, I mean, there had to be because it was really specific. Like, it felt really specific,
Yeah.
But also just like fucking hard. Like, it just feels like things are difficult, and like, I don't know. Also, the idea of like not giving. Okay. This idea, I do think that like some of the like TikToks, Instagram, social media, therapizing has really fucked people up. And like, I was thinking about this, like, because in regards to me maybe putting or feeling like I put out more energy towards certain relationships than I receive back from it.
Right.
From them, like to continue it or to keep going or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, so I was really thinking about this, over the full moon. And then I was having like, that's just a lot. I didn't even tell you about the procedure. The procedure was fine, guys. But it was really fucking weird because it was like, it wasn't just a needle. It was like tools that they put in through like a.
And like also
they
how
like
it was
puncture.
going across. Like it's bad enough to just have it go directly in, but to have it go across from another,
Yeah, it was gross. Mark said it was like sickening to watch it. And I was like, yeah,
Can't imagine. Matt Debenham would not have made it through watching that happen to me.
No, I think it was pretty gross. And then it was afterwards, I just like went home and slept. I actually went to Casa Kismet because kids weren't in school on Friday. And I just was like, I gotta just be chill and not
just sleep. Yeah.
Bothered. Not the children were bothered, Jesus.
No, but
anyway, I just wanted
want them to not
be
feel
alone.
like they have to walk on eggshells either.
Yes. I mean, and we know now if I was in this house, somebody walking upstairs would be causing me a great deal of agita
right off the wall.
But anyway, so yeah, the procedure was fine. And then Saturday, I was thinking a lot about that, like and even just like within dating people and, and that conventional wisdom of like, girl, you gotta don't reach out so much and blah, 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 blah. And then I kind of was just like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, so what if I am a friend who like reaches out a lot to other friends, or when I'm dating people, like I'm like, I don't know. There's a part of me that just feels like that is who I am. I care about other people. I care what they are doing or up to. And like, and it's okay that I am the one that like sent the last text. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Or reached out first the last time. And I don't mean this just purely with romantic relationships, although I don't know how the fuck I'm ever going to navigate that shit ever in my life. I have to be honest. I'm like, who fucking knows? But I do mean it like even with friendships, because making new friends, and a lot of people, I know you guys, I hear you ask like making new friends in your later years.
Yeah.
30s and 40s, and people are like, how the fuck do you do it? And I think that part of it is like being secure in who you are and like what you have to offer, and then like doing what you want to do. If you feel like reaching out to a friend, even though you're like, if you take stock of it in your like PMSy / or full moon moment, and you're like, wait, I'm the one that's always asking her to hang out. That's weird.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But fucking, so what? Maybe that person has like a thing and they don't reach out to people and make plans. I don't know.
Exactly. Well, maybe
people count on you to be the one to connect.
Yes. I will say, well, let's just take, for example, like my friendship with you and my partnership with you. Like I'm basically flexible and free whenever. Like, you know my schedule. You know what I mean? Like, my kids are grown. We know when the podcast happens. You know when editing of the podcast happens. You don't text me to talk in the middle of editing the podcast because you know I'm working. You know what I mean? And so, but I don't always know your schedule. And so sometimes I am just like deferential to you on communication or like getting together just because like you're running around. You have 2 kids in 2 separate places. You're working on a million things, so I just feel deferential. I'm always deferential in terms of like social things, but I'll always defer to like someone else's schedule or whatever because I pretty much, my obligations are flexible. So I leave it like that, but I also do have a thing where I'm like slightly anxious sometimes depending on the friend. But it's most friends. Really, for me, I'm sometimes anxious reaching out to someone because I'm like, what if they're too busy to like hear my little joke or my meme or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, and there are some friends where I can just text, and if I don't hear back, I'll just know it's like, oh, because they're working or whatever. But I have other friends, if I text and I don't hear back, and maybe it's because I don't know their life well enough, it will like cause me to spiral a little bit. Like we were just talking about, like imagining a scenario where this person doesn't want to hear from me. They don't have time for me. And once that happens a couple times, then I think like I adjust my rhythm of communication with that person, like going forward. But it also like colors all of my rhythm of communication with all people because I do have that anxiety where I'm like, who am I to like invade, this person's life with my whatever, And I also try to be super respectful of like, you know what, it's past 8:00 where that person is. That's probably like family time, or it's before 9:00 where that person is. It's before waking up time. I try not to text people on the weekends because I figure that they hopefully have plans on the weekends unless I know that they don't, just shit like that. So like I'm again, like putting all these rules on communicating with everyone, you included, but I don't even know, like it's not something that we've ever talked about. I don't even know if it like necessarily applies.
But I think that that's the truth is that we all make these stories. Mm-hmm. Like it's the same thing with Birdie and the Little Mermaid.
Yes.
It's like we all build these things in our heads.
Right.
That like we didn't actually... The story of The Little Mermaid, by the way, is that Birdie had plans to see The Little Mermaid with her friend.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'd like to go, but then couldn't because I had other plans.
Right.
But then it turned into a rejection based on like her feelings of like me picking other things over her because, by the way, that's one of Birdie's things that she's going to have to deal with in therapy, like for the rest of her life. Like I get it, but it just is, you know?
Yeah.
And like, and she's a kid, but like that is, I think that it is one of the trappings of having a famous parent.
Yeah.
Is that I think that Birdie struggles with me, like with feeling as though other things are more important to me than her, which is like, anyone fucking knows, the most ludicrous.
Well, I mean, and that's any
insane,
kid too,
but yeah.
is that any kid is like resentful when you're not there, and when you are there, doesn't want you there and would rather die than do anything that you're suggesting. And that's how I'm still working through, like when I was a kid, my parents got divorced. My mom joined this singles club that she wasn't even interested in dating anyone, but she hung out with the people in this fucking singles club like every spare second that she had. And it was tough for me because like while I could see on the one hand, like it's good to see my mom like happy and laughing, like I was in my house by myself a lot. And it was like pre-cell phone days and like pre-driver's license time for me. We lived on a fucking farm in the boondocks. And like if I wanted or needed to go anywhere, it just wasn't happening. Like if I needed a poster board for a project or whatever, it was like there was no DoorDash. There was no. So that's like a thing where I'm like, I'm glad that she had that time and that she was happy. She could have checked in with me a little bit about what if I needed anything at all or human companionship at all.
Yeah. I mean,
but that's not the case here.
Well, it's not the case here, but that is also so fucking indicative of just our generation and how we were raised. Like, just like truly. Like, I mean, no one checked in on any of us.
Exactly.
Ever.
Exactly.
Like, did they even fucking know where we were? No.
Right.
I mean,
right.
it's so true. But in Birdie's case, it's interesting that her feeling is that any time away from her that I choose
Right.
is to be away from her, either is me choosing or me saying like that this other thing is more important to me than you.
Right.
Like her feeling is that I should be with her whenever she wants, as much as she wants, and that it's on her to say, oh, I'm good. I'm going to go out with my friends today.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
and then you're supposed to be able to predict the variables of it. The moment she'll be home.
Correct.
Like if she had gone out to dinner after The Little Mermaid,
Correct.
she never would have seen.
Yes. Right.
I think the only real temporary solution is for all parents to block their kids on Instagram.
Well, by the way, that was part of what I was like, why is this bitch watching my stories? Like, how's she watching my stories?
Right.
Like, I have to tell you, I have a friend who has a teenager who's a great teenager.
Yeah.
But I had to be the one to tell her, the friend, that like,
yeah.
oh, your daughter's just blocking you from seeing her stories. And she's
Right.
like, what? And I was like, oh, babe. Yeah, like you can block people from seeing your stories. And she's like, you can? I was like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, thematically, there's something to relationships happening for real. Like whether, like, I don't know if it's this week, but I mean, whether it's like, I don't know. And then like, I do wonder, should ask Mark about this. Like with guys, if I ever date again, I do wonder if that thing is true, where it's like, if they want to, they will like get in touch with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Because some of that stuff I do feel like is like, I don't know, tied into like patriarchal bullshit. You know what I mean? So
Well,
it's like
it's
hard for
probably-
me to like,
It's probably the same as us. It's probably a case-by-case basis, and probably lots of guys are listening to that bullshit, and then lots of guys aren't. And, like, both guys are taking a huge risk, too. You know what I mean? Listen, you know that I don't give it up for guys ever.
no,
But
nor
I
should
do
we.
No, nor should we. They have every advantage, and I never give it up for guys. That being said, I do have like single woman friends who I know are on the dating apps. And like, okay, sometimes men act atrociously on dating apps. And, that's like a thing. But then sometimes I see like girlfriends kind of like posting an interaction with a guy on a dating app where they're just kind of like mocking him or whatever. And I'm like, that, like, they're risking too. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, guys can't fucking win sometimes either, So I think, I don't know. I think it's about just like having a conversation with the guy that you're interested in and being like, like, not to be weird, but like, let's hammer this out. Like, let's hammer out like what our communication style is.
Oh my God, that's it. That's
what gives
fucking
you
everything.
Anxiety.
But also I think that that's really useful with friends too.
Yes.
And like, we don't do that enough. We don't like say to friends, like, what's the deal? How are we doing this? What kind of friend are you? Here's what I'm looking for. I love friends that I can text 10 minutes before and say like, hey, do you want to go to this gallery with me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I love people that are like spur of the moment, like, yeah, let's go do this thing.
Yes.
I don't know. Anyway, it's interesting. I don't know. It's just interesting.
It is interesting. I think it's worth like trying to have a conversation with someone about what their communication style is, if they've even ever thought of it. And again, shout out to our friend Paul F. Tompkins, because like I didn't even know like the etiquette of how you like texted or messaged with someone, because that was like not a technology that we grew up with. And he was literally the person that was like, oh, you can text anyone anytime. You don't get your feelings hurt when they don't respond right away because maybe they're in a meeting, maybe they're at a show, maybe they're in a movie. You don't know. Maybe they're working. And also, like, when you're done talking, just end the conversation. You don't have to say, like,
talk to you later.
Thank you for talking to me. Yours sincerely, comma, Casey Sainach. You know, you don't have to do that. So anyway, I think it's worth it at the risk of seeming weird to head off future like hurt feelings or weird, like, I think it's worth trying to have a conversation if it means a lot to you.
I'm trying. I really do feel like being as open and honest with how I'm feeling with everyone is how I've been trying to move through the world, especially, and like identifying that sometimes is the trickiest part, right? But like once I've really sort of identified it, just being like, this is where I'm coming from.
Yeah. I think just trying to identify our feelings to ourselves would go a huge, long way to like feeling better. Because I think a lot of times we're just walking around and know that we're having some kind of feeling that's affecting us, and we're not even like pinpointing, like, is this sadness? Is it loneliness? Is it anger? And then we're just vomiting it all over the place. Anyway.
Oh, Sakara life. Listen, I don't know about you, but I'm like overwhelmed. I got too much stuff going on. I've got a very busy schedule. And why I love Sakara is because Sakara delivers ready-to-eat, plant-rich meals that help me look and feel my best, even during weeks where I'm like crazed and can't get my shit together, back-to-back meetings, all kinds of things, running from place to place, kid stuff, not kid stuff. And it also just like makes me feel good and keeps energy high because it's science-backed, nutritionally designed meals that I genuinely look forward to eating. Seriously, they are delicious, you guys. Very delicious meals.
We talked a little bit on this podcast today about like your future self looking out for like your present self. And that's what I feel like, honestly, when I get Sakara is just, I feel cared for. Like I have someone taking care of me, and it just happens to be like the me of yesterday, like looking out for the me of today. And it's really, really helpful. It's a big deal.
I mean, their meals are also expertly designed to support your goals, whatever they are, from weight management and clearer skin or boosted energy, gut health. They're also, again, I'm just going to say it one more time, delicious.
They taste good because I'm going to be honest. If they didn't taste good, they would just sit in my fridge. I'm not going to eat it if it doesn't taste good.
Right, and you'd feel guilty. And
exactly. You feel terrible. That's not the case with Sakara. It's actually really delicious food that I would eat even if it wasn't healthy, but it is.
Well, guys, Sakara delivers science-backed, plant-rich nutrition programs and wellness essentials right to your door. Their ready-to-eat meals are nutritionally designed to deliver results from weight management and eased bloat to boosted energy and clearer skin. And right now, Sakara is offering our listeners 20% off their first order when they go to sakara.com/best or enter code BEST at the checkout. That's Sakara, SAKARA.com/best to get 20% off your first order. Sakara.com/best. Oh, little Gina's been sitting behind me this whole time and with me for most of the podcast today. And Gina Linetti just loves eating her Sundays. She loves her healthy dog food that is, TBH, very easy for me to store and serve. I don't have to remember to defrost anything. It's just there. It's air-dried dog food made from a very short list of human-grade ingredients. I know your girls love it.
They go insane for it just when they hear me opening the cabinet where the box is.
Well, Sundays was co-founded by a practicing veterinarian, Dr. Tori, and it contains 90% meat, 10% vegetables, 0% synthetic nutrients. And I have to say, I have felt like Gina's breath has been improved since. I'm not kidding.
You don't want to hurt her feelings, but
eating Sundays. That's why I'm talking quietly. I'm talking quietly. She also just like loves it. She just loves it.
I mean, softer fur, fresher breath, better poops, more energy. Not that my girls need more energy, but the better poops is a big deal.
The better poops is always a big deal for all of us. I mean, the human version of Sundays is also, always on the lookout. So many of the things that advertise on our podcast, I feel like we're like, it makes you poop better. You know what I mean? And
They've got our number.
They really have our number. And this is our canine equivalent of like, it just makes them poop better. Anyway, every order ships right to your door. You never have to worry about running out of dog food again, which is like literally my nightmare. And it costs about 40% less than other healthy dog food brands because Sundays doesn't waste money on shipping frozen packages. They just spend on what matters, sourcing the best all-natural ingredients for our babies. And by babies, I mean dogs. We worked out a special deal for our dog-loving listeners. Get 35% off your first order of Sundays. Go to sundaysfordogs.com/busy or use code BUSY at the checkout. That's Sundays for Dogs, sundaysfordogs.com/busy. Upgrade your pup to Sundays and feel good about the food you feed your dog.
Somebody is here to talk to us who could probably answer a lot of the questions that
we've had already. Because we're talking about a lot of moon shit. Marcella.
It's our friend Marcella Kroll, who we've talked about a million times on the podcast.
Has so much exciting stuff, work stuff has been going on for you. Also, I do want to just shout out the Sacred Symbols Oracle deck because I have an extra one, Casey, that I think we should give to a listener.
Oh, great.
I have one in my possession because when your Roast Iconic deck came out, the company that is publishing them, making them, selling them,
the publisher
sent them to me. But I was like, was very excited about Roast Iconic, but my Sacred Symbols Oracle deck and I have like a very personal relationship and I don't need another one. So I just had it sitting downstairs on my bookshelf waiting to go to its new owner. But maybe we can just give it, Casey, you can do it through the Substack to someone.
Yes.
That would be so cool. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you for being here.
It feels really surreal because I listen to you like as much as I can, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm sitting here live with you now.
Well, we listen to you as well. Yeah. So it's very exciting for us.
There's so many full circle moments. I know. It's kind of trippy how many full circle moments, between each of us, I think.
I think so too.
I mean, I don't know. I think we all know, right? To a degree. Can I share?
I think so. We should share. Let's share
everything.
Well, I moved to LA on a whim in like 2006, like on an airplane from New York with $800, like with no dream, no direction. Anyway, after a year of doing retail and like, I ended up houseless and I was like, basically crashing in an abandoned apartment for a minute, like for 2 weeks. And all I had was my laptop and I would go to the library and rent Freaks and Geeks DVDs. So I'm like sitting in this abandoned apartment, like going, what am I doing with my life? Watching Freaks and Geeks. And that was like what got me through that weird period, like of time. I think I was like that stint. I was houseless for 3 months.
Wow.
Insane. Yeah. And between my car and abandoned apartments or, side of the road and Freaks and Geeks, like is what got me through it. So,
oh my God,
this is very surreal. And then Casey, in 2000 and when was it? 2007? I don't know. I was on Joan Rivers' TV show with her daughter.
Yes.
Yeah. And
The reality show.
And it was like right before I went full time. doing readings.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that gave you a little boost to be able to go full time, or?
Oh, you know what? That was actually 2012.
Yeah.
Right. So I went full time in 2009, but I didn't really like believe that this was my job.
Yeah.
You know, and even
well,
then,
I'm so curious between 2006 and 2009, how did you open yourself up to that readings and witchiness that you could like manifest money, you could make this a career?
You know, it kind of was an accident. And it really, I had been like into astrology and tarot and like witchy stuff, like from like 18 on, you know, and I always been into like weird things when I was a kid, but like growing up in New England, I grew up in Rhode Island, and people would be very dismissive and be like, yeah, whatever, you know.
Yes, I'm familiar.
Yeah. So I kind of like dismissed a lot of it. And I also had like a double life going for a while, where I had my like kind of rock and roll music, punk art friends. And then I had my like weird spiritual friends. So I would like do kind of side to side things. And then I lived in New York, and I worked as a buyer at a very well-known buy-sell trade place at Beacon's Closet in Williamsburg at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I worked as a stage manager at a burlesque club, which still exists. And then I would do random readings for East Side ladies by word of mouth. And I would be like the reluctant reader. I didn't want to do it, but people would tell people about me. And I would do it. So I get to LA and I have no vision, no plan. I just knew I couldn't be in New York anymore. And I worked in a showroom for a designer, and I worked retail. And then I lost my job. I got fired for the only time in my life for not being the right vibe anymore.
Oh my God.
Which is hilarious. Very LA. After I got like one of my tattoos on my neck. But anyway.
You're like, that was the vibe. The vibe was the neck tattoo.
The neck tattoo.
Turns out.
Like, I literally didn't have any of this here, by the way. Like,
okay.
I was heavily tattooed, but you couldn't see it as visibly. But I had no choice. I was like, you know what? I would literally do readings for like sandwiches, like for money, for meals. And then it just kept happening. And I still would I forced myself to get jobs. I worked at the library. I was a messenger clerk for the Los Angeles Public Library.
You know, I love the Los Angeles Public Library so much.
They're amazing.
They're amazing.
They are. They just like, and people would be like, you work here? Like they were so confused that I worked there. The kids would be like, are you doing hours? They all thought like I was doing like community service. And then one of the teen librarians had said to me, would you ever like do tarot for teens, like a class? This was at the library. I was like, they don't want that. They don't want that.
Yes,
she's like, they do want that.
Yeah, they do. And
I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do it. So I like reluctantly did this class. And they were like, okay, this is great. We're going to put it up against the review board for the program directors for the main library, all the branches. It's going to go into the system, and now any branch can book you. And I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah. So that happened. And then
that is like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's like the universe just being like, hey, here's your thing. Like, you know, you got to just, okay, sure.
Yeah, it just like happened. And I was like, all right, cool. And I really did not think anything would happen, but I did that for 14 years.
Wow.
I retired doing it this last September just because I've been like trying to leave, but I feel like Southern California is keeping me hostage at the moment.
Well, listen, let me tell you from someone who was kicked the fuck out that when Southern California is ready for you to leave, there is no mistaking. You will be kicked out. I definitely
am out of LA. I'm in Long Beach now, but like in LA will not let me back in unless it's like to come do a random job. But I was working also like, here's the other thing with the work. Like I was working in a cafe. Like I would work in this beat up like 90s style coffee shop in Echo Park. I'd go in at like 5:30 in the morning and I would open. And I would work until like 12:30. And then I started doing readings at night. And I would do them wherever. I would do them behind Stories Bookstore Cafe. I would do them at the Rose Bowl in Hollywood. Medusa Lounge, which doesn't exist anymore. All these places.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And then Mystic Journey Bookstore opened up at the same time as Stories, where I was. And I went in there on a whim because I saw a Craigslist ad. And I got hired on the spot. And it was terrifying. And then it just kept happening. I was like, I can't work in a coffee shop anymore. I have to do this.
Yeah.
Right.
So it just kind of like became a thing.
You guys, why does it sound like someone is drilling in my house?
I'm sure someone is.
This is so strange.
In the building.
Yeah. It must be the building next door.
Yeah.
So you just had to, something had to give.
Kept happening. And I was like, I can't like work a coffee shop job and do this. And things just kept like piling up, opportunities in terms of it. But I still didn't know what I was doing because there was nobody doing this like professionally. There was no one I could. And then
because also like Instagram and building a business, having the ability to build a business that way didn't really exist.
It didn't until things really shifted and changed for me because of Instagram. But that was more like 2015.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Like 2014, 15, 16 is when like if you had I don't know, like you had a bigger reach. Everyone had a bigger reach. Yeah. And so that makes sense.
There wasn't this algorithm thing. Like people could naturally, organically find you.
Right.
And at the time, I would just be posting things that I'm like an introverted extrovert. Like I'm extroverted only sometimes, like in certain situations, but I'm mostly an introvert. So it was like an introvert to dream to be able to be like, I can just like share all this weird stuff I'm into and put it out into the void.
Right. And put it into the world in a way that like doesn't actually require participation on the other person's side. Like I get that. I feel that. Right.
Yeah. Like, I mean, when I would do those at the Rose Bowl, I would get like screamed at by born again Christians.
Yeah, that's terrifying. God. I don't want that. I don't want that for you. That's terrifying.
It's like my idea of like when I was trying to become a writer, someone encouraged me to try stand-up comedy because that would make me a sharper writer, which I did do it for a couple years, but I never loved it. And all I would tell myself the whole time is like, this is going to make me a better writer. But I realized at some point that if stand-up comedy could be that I would just go to like an event and go around and do jokes to people individually, that would be great for me. But I just didn't want to get up in front of the whole group and do my act. I wanted to just do some jokes for groups of 1 to 3 people.
1 to 3 people. That's where you shine. But Twitter kind of allowed for that, Casey. Because
100%.
Because you can like sort of, you were able to sort of imagine that you were just putting it out there for 1 to 3, a specific person.
Yeah,
even.
This is just like for my one friend who will get this. And then if 85,000 people like it, great. But
that's what I would do with Instagram stories too when I started. I was like thinking I was just telling one person.
Right.
Like a confessional type vibe.
Right.
You don't think of you guys, I have to show you Gina right now because this is...
She loves you.
Oh my God.
Hi.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, hi. We should do a magic in your familiar reading sometime with her.
Oh my God, I would love it. Well, I already know, she's our cat reincarnated.
No. Look at
these paws. This is really funny. Oh my God, that is really funny. You guys, I wish I could have taken a picture. I didn't do it fast enough. But these paws just like floating in the screen. She's so funny. I know I would love to know what her whole, she's just like she really found me. This one.
She's your familiar.
She is my familiar.
Oh my gosh. And you have your familiar, Lord.
Yeah, that's why
we love Lord. Lord is so cute.
Lord she's a special creature. People often are like, reptiles are not, warm or friendly, but she is super friendly.
I feel like I've really gotten to know the soul of a reptile through Lord. Like I really feel like I get it now. Like, I maybe am one of those people that's like, I don't understand people that would have like a snake in their house or like but Lord is genuinely funny. Like
she's got a personality.
Yeah.
And I'm like a wackadoo. I did her chart. I'm going to have to. I was literally stressing out this morning because I woke up in the middle of the night thinking maybe I'm not able to move because I haven't considered where Lord wants to be.
Oh, that's actually interesting.
Right. So I was like,
And?
oh, I need to look up the astrocartography of her chart, like a maniac. Like,
Oh my God.
So I was like frantically looking this morning. And I was like, no wonder she doesn't want to go back to me to go to Providence. It's not good for her there.
No. Well, listen, now you know. I think that's amazing.
I'm trying to be considerate because she's like a powerful manifester. And I know I don't even care anymore if I sound wackadoodle. Like, she has made things happen in my life in a way that like I did not think was possible. And I'm like, just like learning. She taught me how to love. She taught me how to like open myself up. Aww. And I've never had a pet before. And like, I don't know, she's got special magic and she's like made things happen. And I don't ever want to like, I want to give her the same reverence that I would give like if I had a person in my life, you know?
Yeah.
I think that makes so much sense.
I don't think that sounds wackadoodle at all.
I don't either.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up like sounding wackadoodle because I did want to ask you, Marcella, like, I know when we put this episode out, people are going to be like, I'm skeptical of these things, which I'm always like, I'm skeptical of people that say they're skeptical because I think it's just a way of like shutting people up when you feel uncomfortable with the ideas of some things. But the way that I feel about these things, and I think we've talked about it a little bit in the past because we talk all the time. I think of these things as like, it's the same as like the way that some people feel about religion or self-help books or like these systems for living. I just feel like I'm looking at these things and using them as like guideposts to like be intentional about what I'm doing. I feel like I'm the magic that's gonna, or like you said, like Lord is the magic, like pets are magic. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like in my own life, I'm the magic that's gonna make something happen by, continuing to pursue, let's say, luck. You know what I mean? Like people are like, that's such a lucky thing that happened in your life. And I'm like, yes, it was lucky, but also like I've been working toward this and I've been open to receiving luck. And so I just feel like it's just like a way of living where I have my eyes open and I'm like, oh, today is about letting go of things that it's time to let go of, or today is about beginning new things. And so I just use it as like a little bit of like guideposts or whatever. That's just me. Like, I think that we're the magic and that we make these things happen. But how do you address people that like kind of come at you with their skepticism?
I said, great. It's not for you then.
Right.
It's like more for the people who it's for.
Yeah.
I think there's like this element of, well, there's a few things. One, like, magic and being open to the invisible has literally saved my life. I mean, there's been a lot of things in the physical reality in the world that I just couldn't believe in, or wasn't there to like help me, or wasn't there to like actually like nourish me. And it was the one thing that I never felt like I doubted. There was one time in my life where I felt like maybe this is all BS. And it was like a really profound breakthrough that I had. So I think there's a couple of things. One, I just say like, I've talked to so many different walks of life, and I've had like non-believers. I've had, atheists. I've actually had a minister come to me once, which was really bizarre.
Wow.
And I'm also like delusional, and I've like a lot of, if you know where I come from or what I grew up in, like you'd have to be delusional or believe in something outside of yourself, not as like a force that you can't co-collaborate with, but like there's every day we're waking up and creating a reality. Yeah. And I think that we live in a time where there's so much information where we can like, why would the invisible not be there? Why would these things not be there to guide us? And if that's the way your brain has compartmentalized it, like, why is it not valid? I think that's why I believe in everything in a way. Like, I don't have a set traditional path. And I think that is on purpose, for many reasons. I mean, mostly because I do believe everything is possible, just as you can also make things impossible when you close your mind to it. Right. So a lot of times, like, back to being delusional, like, I would never be where I am today or do any of the things that I've gotten to do, these amazing things, if I wasn't a little delusional.
That's right.
Right.
I say that about myself though, too. Like, I think about baby me, and I've always had like magic in my life, and things have shown up in ways that there's no logical or scientific explanation for. And I've just always believed it. Like, I've just always believed it's there for me and it shows up, you know? And I think about when I was a kid and I was like a teenager, and I'm like, I'm moving to Los Angeles. I'm going to go to 2 years of college. I'm going to get on a television show and I'm going to be an actor on like a big show. And literally, like, to the minute, you know, like, I did the thing. I did the fucking thing that I had been saying for so many years leading up to that I was going to do. And I remember meeting Mark, who's like a very like logical person, man. He's very much like, you know, he's very like, he needs to see it to believe it. And I do think in our relationship, I mean, other than our children, probably the thing I'm proudest of is that, like, I literally made him become like a manifester of magic. Like, he can do it now. Like, he literally can do it, you know, because he's saw it so much and was like, oh, this actually is fucking real.
Yeah. I think and there are people that I think that's part of their purpose, to show people that things are possible and different. And, you know, I definitely think you're one of those people that, like, you show people by how you show up, and people see it and they go, wow, okay, that can really happen. And, you know, there are people that are in fear. You know, a lot of times they don't want to know certain things because they're afraid of, you know, what they might find out. But I don't know. There's just, you know, I don't spend much time with naysayers anymore. And it's not because I don't value a different opinion. I just, like, can't live in a reality where you don't believe that things can be different.
Right.
Oh my God.
Why? Like, why would we do that? You know? And it's interesting because growing up, I didn't know that these, you know, things that I could do or sense, like, I had to find a lot of this stuff on my own. And then it wasn't until 42, I found my biological father, by chance. And I never knew who he was. And then you know, he's like, the first thing he said to me on the phone was, I see you took that gift of ours and turned it into a living. And I was like, excuse me?
Wow.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
And he is sensitive, but his mother, my grandmother, who's still alive, lives in New Hampshire. I talked to her once on the phone. She's a tarot reader. She was a tarot reader at Woodstock. And her mother was institutionalized for seeing things, but also being in an interracial marriage, which was illegal in 1931.
Jesus.
Wow.
So I was like, this stuff is if it's here for you, like, it's going to find you whether or not you have the foundation or the manual.
That's right.
And how you work with it. Because I think everybody has abilities? It's a mixture of yes and no. I think not everybody has the ability to access them because of the layers of fear or, you know, just societal things. It's a little bit frightening to be made to believe that you're, you know, there are a lot of times people have called me crazy or something derogatory.
Right.
And then only to be like, you were right. And, and I'm like, duh, I can't.
Yeah. Story of my fucking life. No shit.
Yeah. Or like, I'm just like, I'm so done I can't put myself around people who plant seeds of doubt all the time. I had to spend my whole life adult years retraining myself to trust my intuition, because I grew up in a pretty violent home with a mother who was pretty awful. And, I like learned that I had to it was like what I learned was backwards.
Right.
And I had to shut down this very integral part of my system. Like I think about all the time, what would have happened if I was actually encouraged and supported and, but I have no regrets. There's just this, you learn when you're ready. And I think I am a person that it takes me a long time. Like you said, people think oh, that luck just happened. This just happened. I'm like, you didn't see the 9 years prior.
Right.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
So that's the other thing too. When you're doing something that now that it's really prevalent, you see people online all the time, readers, astrology, all that stuff is really accessible. But when I was doing it, I didn't have anyone to talk to.
Right.
And the communities that I was connected to, I didn't really fit in.
Do you
Right.
feel like you've found more community now in the last several years through Instagram too? I mean, I watched your Egypt trip.
Oh,
my God.
Egypt was amazing. Yes and no. There are aspects of it. That group that I went with 22 Teachings. They're a Hermetic magic school that I teach at. I'm not a Hermetic magician.
What is that? What does that mean? What is a Hermetic magician?
There's different magical paths, and Hermeticism has they do a little it's a little bit of a Kabbalistic path and a few other things, but they're very, very formula, and they have a way of doing rituals and magic, and I respect all of it, and I love that they have me teach there all the time. And even though I'm kind of the wild card, I'm like, we don't need to follow this 8-point rule. I've been really fortunate and lucky enough to connect with different people to have these amazing spiritual experiences. But when I am on my own in the day to day, I'm alone a lot, so it's strange. It's you're connected, but then you're very disconnected when you shut the phone or the screen,
Yeah. You also talk a lot about autism.
Yes. I am autistic. Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about that? If you think being autistic has anything to do with you finding yourself in this place in your life? Does it have to do with the loneliness that you're experiencing? How does it shape who you are and what you do?
It's wild because I got sober, and then I found my biological father, and then a year later I was diagnosed autistic.
Wow.
So all these identity shifts and
Huge identity shifts.
major, and finding out I was oh, you're autistic. You're not just a bitch that people keep saying you're a bitch. And I'm I'm just direct. What is this? Or
Right.
I had to go through a lot of a grieving process for all of the times that I did not feel like I was understood or had support. And that was huge. And I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of friends that I thought would be supportive, actually. And it was a grief in itself. And I think that, some people do you think that your intuition and your autism are connected? And I'm yes and no. I mean, I think they're all part of the recipe.
Right.
And I think it's changed my life in so many ways, knowing how to actually show up for myself now and not feel bad about it. I used to shame myself so much and I would overdo it, and then I'd be overstimulated, and I would be a bitch. I'd have a meltdown, but I didn't know that that's what it was. I didn't know that I needed care in a different way.
Right.
And I don't apologize anymore for it now. I used to apologize all the time because I felt so ashamed that why can't I just be not high maintenance? Or I'd pretend to be easy or cool about things when I was not cool at all. And then it would just build in resentment. And then I would just opt out of doing things. And I'm like, why can't I actually just do things and ask for the support I need? You know?
Right.
And that's challenging when you grow up in a hostile environment too. You can't really ask for your needs to be met.
Right. That's a new skill you have to learn.
Yeah. So I feel like I've had to learn a lot of things as this person who suddenly got a bunch of information that they did not have prior, which, you know, to get that information in your 40s is kind of mind blowing. I mean, even just like I grew up mostly with my mom's mom because my mom was a party monster. She used to follow bands. She was a groupie and then like has like a bunch of kids. It was a wild environment. I had an adopted dad growing up. He was amazing, but he was young too. And I grew up mostly with my Italian grandmother who wanted me to just be this box. And to find out, like through my father's lineage, I have my indigenous ancestry, my West African ancestry, my Filipino ancestry, all these things that I used to like not understand why I didn't fit in. And then to find out the psychic component, and then to find out the autism, it's like, what? Who am I? Like all of these things are really great to know, but like, how would my life be different if I had that kind of container of support when I was younger?
Right.
So it's a trip.
It is a trip. And I also think like you had said, you know, the information comes to us when it does, right? And like, I don't know. I think about sliding door moments all the time. Like, how would it be different if you had found your dad 20 years ago or whatever? But yeah, that's not this timeline. Like that's not this version of events, right? So, I mean, do you ever struggle with that? I like with the timeline of it all, like I sometimes am like, just like, the fuck is this timeline, guys?
Right.
I want the different one. I want the one where you find your dad 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
Sometimes I do literally say to myself, in another timeline, this is all going great. Like to comfort myself.
No fucking shit.
I'm like, in another universe, this is all fine and it worked out fine.
No, I think that's a big part of the, you know, what we can do now in the present moment. And it's something that I teach a lot, like when I do classes or things, or even in like, I wrote a book. It's not coming out till next year, but one of the things in it is sending healing down the timeline to younger versions of self. And I think that the work, and it might sound out there, but like, I really believe that I made certain choices in my past because of who I am today. I think me now because there are certain times where I'm like, why did I decide to up and leave? Why did I do this? Why did I do that
interesting.
One thing? And I really think that in some weird kind of quantum physics way, present me sent healing to me at that particular age, and it changed my response. And I
the trajectory.
Back to the future did.
Yes, I really believe that. You can do that and help, and not just for yourself. I think you can do it ancestrally too. Like I can think you can send it to your ancestors. You can send it to yourself, and it does make a difference.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I had an experience one time where I got really into like flotation deprivation, like sensory deprivation.
Yeah, you loved it.
Like I bought a pack so that I could go like 15 times or whatever. And the first few times I went, I couldn't stop my mind from racing, and I would actually like panic in the tank. But then eventually I got to a place where I could be calm and relaxed, and even like maybe even fall asleep and like enjoy all the colors that would be like flashing before your closed eyes in the darkness. But then I had this really interesting experience where I just like visualized adult me just kneeling down and caring for small me and being like, it's going to be okay. It's also okay to mourn the things that are never going to be in this time. It's okay to be sad about the things that are never going to happen, and you know they're never going to happen. And I'm here to tell you that none of those things that you're wishing for right now are going to happen. but here I am and I'm okay and I got you. Like, I'll get you to where I am now. And that for me was like a huge breakthrough, not just in terms of like flotation tank jollies or whatever, but like just in life, like going forward in life. I was like, oh, I can do that. I can comfort my small self. And so I kind of think that's similar to what you're saying, because if it's true that I was sending that to myself back in time, that was probably what gave me the strength when I was 7 to be like, oh, fuck this. Like, I got to get up and keep going.
That is like, it's also a very Hoffman thing. I just want you to know.
Really?
Yeah, like one of the things that you do in Hoffman that I still do to this day is there's like a guided visualization sort of meditation thing where, and they don't tell you the age, they don't tell you who you meet, like which versions of yourself show up.
Right.
But there are like 3 versions of yourself, and you like have to you talk to those girls, you know, and like you make sort of an agreement that you're going to take care of them.
Yeah,
and
I love that.
It really is incredible. And I have to say, I've continued to do that thing, and the age of my girl changes. Like it changes based on what I am like currently grappling with. Actually, I'm going to do it now, Casey, now that we've brought this up. Because Marcella, before you jumped on, I was like, we were talking about the full moon last week, and I was saying that I was having like all these issues of, like, I mean, whatever, so many, but so many fucking issues. No, but like we're like the idea of being home in oneself, you know, as opposed to like home being a place. And then also like healing this thing of being drawn to people who maybe are like not as interested in me, and like trying to get people to love me in the way that I want to be loved. And like that stuff is all, that's like good. That's a ripe area for me to go back and look at some age of myself. I don't know. We'll see who shows up.
Well, and one of the exercises I like to share with people is doing like a letter to your former self, which is like find an age that really is prevalent in your mind and then write to them from where you're at now and let them know where you're at now, and what's going on in your life and what has changed and what is different and what, you know, maybe you've grown from that you didn't know at the time you were going to grow from. And that always is like so freeing and liberating, like to be able to do that. And, you know, the other thing you could do too is like write yourself a little pep talk note that's like for a future version, you know, just put it somewhere and like put a date on it, like open this in August, you know, whatever. And then find that note to yourself later and see what's shifted.
Oh, I love that.
It really helps, I think.
Yeah. I think that this has just been such a time to be alive. It's been a time to be alive. And I do think like so many people who probably are listening, so many people that I'm friends with, I don't know, I feel like it's not that I have gravitated more toward like magic and astrology and signs and things like that because this time has been so confusing, but in a way it has helped me process the confusion of the time and not even make sense of it, because sometimes there is no sense to be made of some of the things, you know, but given me just like a piece for myself that I think is the thing that we like have to return to all the time, which is like the ultimate knowing that this is, if my intentions are like toward a greater good, that everything will happen, the universe will protect, will support, has got me, and everything is going to happen exactly the way that it has to, and that the way that it should in this world, you know, because
And I love that you said that, like you said it, Busy, too. I love that you said everything will happen the way that it's supposed to or the way that it has to, because I think a lot of times people are like, if I just trust in the universe, everything will turn out great. And that's not, like, we know that's not true. Bad things happen, hard things happen, but like that literally is life. And, you know, there's a difference between thinking that like there's some sort of like plan or, you know, or believing that that you can try to follow a plan and knowing that like it doesn't always end up being a gift in the moment. Mm-hmm. You know, right. I love that you said it that way.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Casey. Oh my gosh, you guys. Obsessed with Thrive Cosmetics. You know it.
Yes.
You know it.
Obsessed with all of the products. Like all of them are great, but in particular, I know you and I have the same number one favorite holy grail product.
Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. Guys, listen to me. If you hear one thing from me, be it this. Right now, when you hear the like call to action, so, you know, because you're going to get like a special code, go buy the Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. I swear to God,
yes,
you are going to love it. I have never had so many compliments on my mascara since I started wearing this Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara from Thrive
good.
Cosmetics. I'm not kidding. I wear it. I ended up having them get it for me on Girls 5 Eva.
Great.
Like I only want to wear this mascara. And it's crazy because I was like very much against tubing mascaras.
Oh, interesting.
I really hated them. The ones that I had tried, I really didn't like them. This was sent to us when we were going to try out the brand to see if we wanted to advertise with them or have them advertise with us.
Yeah.
And I was skeptical.
Yeah.
I was skeptical. And you guys, I'm not kidding. Like I'm truly obsessed with this. It's the only mascara I want to wear now. And I actually need to order more, but that just reminds me. I'm going to use our code. But I use an eyelash curler and I use that mascara and I am not kidding you. It has more than 25,000 5-star reviews for a reason. It looks like my lashes are like, I don't want to like oversell, but I'm just telling you, it is there. It's incredible. It lasts all day. It comes off easily with just warm water.
Right.
You don't even need soap.
No, raccoon eyes at the end of the day.
I don't understand why it's so good, but I love it. And I want you to try it because I want you to love it because I love it. Casey loves it. I'm getting really excited about it because I like genuinely love it.
I'm so excited too. I have really oily face. Every other mascara smears under my eyes like within minutes.
Same.
And also I have really sensitive eyes. So every other mascara irritates my eyes. So not only I'm smearing it around myself by rubbing my eyes, this Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara, no problems. No smearing, no rubbing.
Well, part of the reason there's no parabens, sulfates, or phthalates, it's certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free. They make it with clean, skin-loving ingredients, and they are called Thrive Cosmetics, C-A-U-S-E, because cause is a part of their mission. Part of their mission is that every purchase supports organizations that help communities thrive, such as people who are battling domestic abuse or homelessness, cancer, and more. We looked at all of the organizations that they support. It's all good stuff, guys. We promise.
We love that.
You can do your own research, but we love it. And I just want you guys to try Thrive Cosmetics and see for yourself, specifically Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara is what I'm saying to you. Right now, you can get an exclusive 20% off your first order when you visit thrivecosmetics.com/best. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/best. best for 20% off your first order. We love you, Thrive Cosmetics. Oh, ZocDoc. Guys, it's that summer season. Here's what I'm going to say to you. Kids are out of school. People are traveling.
Right.
You know what's going to be your best friend in this time? I'm going to tell you. ZocDoc.
Get that app on your phone.
Get the app on your phone. Because thousands of medical professionals on ZocDoc are there to help you.
Yeah.
They will get you the expert care you need or your kid needs or anyone in your family needs. And you don't have to go down like some rabbit hole on TikTok trying to like decipher your own or your children's symptoms. If you're in like a visiting family in another state or on vacation somewhere, ZocDoc has come in clutch for me so many times.
It happens without fail.
Without fail. When you're traveling.
My kids have come down with something on every vacation we've ever gone on.
And with ZocDoc, you can find the doctor that's right for you, and it's very seamless. The quality care that you or your family needs is just a few taps away in the ZocDoc app. It also is a great way to find doctors in your own neighborhood. You can read real patient reviews. You can see if they take your insurance, and you can see if they are available. And a lot of times the doctors are available as quickly as like the next day. ZocDoc is the only free app. It is free. And it lets you find and book doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them and treat almost every condition under the sun, guys. I'm just saying ZocDoc has come in handy for me so many times in my life. With ZocDoc, you're going to know who you're getting and where you're going.
No more doctor roulette or scouring the internet for questionable reviews. With ZocDoc, you have a trusted guide to connect you to the doctor that you need or your new favorite doctor that you haven't met yet.
All right, guys, listen to me and Casey. Go to ZocDoc.com/doingherbest and download the ZocDoc app for free. And then you can begin to find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/doingherbest. ZocDoc.com/doingherbest. Wait, should I pull a card?
Yeah.
For us?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, pull a card.
I have my,
Yeah,
I
I love that.
I pull cards all the time, and Birdie and I pull cards together. Sometimes, Cricket and I pulled one the other day. I also I do specific things. I have taken a page from your general weekly readings, and sometimes I just do my own where I'm like, what am I being met with? What do I need to let go of? What am I going to bring in? But I was doing the cards the other day, and the energy has been so weird. This full moon knocked me on my ass.
This full moon leveled me. I could not, I was so physically exhausted. I have been exhausted for a while because one, I had a major surgery, it was 2 months ago, and I'm still not fully, my energy levels aren't fully back. And then I did a big festival, which I never do festivals. I taught 2 presentations at Lightning in a Bottle, which was a huge, massive.
It looked amazing.
It was really cool, but oh my God, so exhausting in the best way. But I was wow, I am completely depleted. And then the full moon hit, and I was oh my God, I'm laying on the floor. I lay on the floor a lot, lately.
It's my favorite place.
Yeah, it's all I can do sometimes.
So good.
Flatline on the floor. Lord came over. She's looking up at me what are you talking about? Transmute. This
is the card.
Practical. Very
As he pulled a card,
it
it's a green card with a snake on it, and it's the transmute card.
Yes, I love that. I like that you're gonna read from the book.
Yeah, I was gonna read. Yeah. This is how I do it. This is how I use it. So okay. To transmute is to convert one energy into another. The snake is a powerful symbol of transmutation. You're being invited to accept its gift of shedding to help you process something important. Use this ability to make magic by transmuting the snake's energy into something new and beneficial for your growth. Meditate on this symbol when you need some assistance in changing the energy in your life. And the symbol is the snake. The snake represents our ability to connect to our own inner alchemist, to let go of the old by being able to shed its skin, thereby allowing for constant evolution. I love this for you and me,
so
Casey.
great.
Casey, I actually think this is for us.
That's the card for us.
Because we're transmuting right now, Casey and I.
Oh, okay,
Marcella,
fine.
you're it's all going to make sense in the future.
It'll soon make sense. And also, like, back to like skepticism.
Yes.
People who are feeling like a little skeptical, tell me, what about everything Busy just read isn't just good life advice for anyone?
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? Like, what about that isn't like a positive message to be like, I have the power to shed old things that I don't need anymore and go forth in a new skin? That's just good advice. That's like,
And it's also like it's about bringing the practical into the magic, right, together. And I think that there's a lot of times people who are skeptical are really just thinking of like these kind of really outdated like ideas of what mystics and psychics have to offer. Like it's like kind of like a weird like movie projection of what they think. Like you
Right.
know, I'm just going to tell you something really
like you're going to die on the 34th day of the 17th year of like whatever. I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They just
And
like
then-
imagine some weird.
I feel like sometimes people that feel like they're very science oriented are skeptical, but here's what I always take away. The smartest person I've ever met in my life, and I've met a really, really lot of very smart people, but this person was a nuclear physicist, very smart and also older, had been at it for a long time, wasn't like some whippersnapper. And he told me that he found that the most truly scientific people were also the most spiritual because they know that there's things that nobody knows and they've, so.
I'm just going to put it out there, but if you want an example of that, Sir Isaac Newton.
Yes.
I mean, I very, very briefly, I'll go over like Sir Isaac Newton, who is like revered by scientists and engineers. It was one of the most magical spiritual alchemists alive for his time. And he was like, a lot of his work was like burned or lost, but then there was a lot of stuff that was refound and people don't realize like he was a magician, and it's like all these skeptics and these people who are like science. I mean, I love science. Science is magic.
Yeah. You just said you had surgery,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I mean,
obviously you rely on science.
I do. And then I also rely on the mystical aspect of, I don't know if it's too TMI, but like I had a hysterectomy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think here's like the magic, right? Is in the and the medical is that medically I was having these issues. And not only medically, I like did a bunch of like hypnosis beforehand to like kind of check in. And one of the things that was like, when you let this go, you're letting go of like the sadness that you've like inherited on a cellular level from your mother and from your lineages and all these wounds that are in the womb. And I was like, people, I mean, and I tell you, do I feel completely different? Like, do I feel like less of a heavy emotional burden? Yes, I do.
Wow.
Because I do think that medically, yes, I got a lot of alleviation with the procedure, but I think on an emotional and a cellular level, that's the magic, like those memories. And I mean, we have memories stored in us, that's,
oh my God, 100%.
mystical.
Well,
that's science.
It's so funny because even with my thyroid ablation that we just talked about briefly at the beginning of the show, because I was like talking about the moon more. And I was like, oh yeah. By the way, that I had so my Val, who I see here, who's like my energy worker that I go to, who we love, shout out Val. Hi. She was like, it's something really interesting about that it's the right side of your literal throat. Like that you have some things you got to get out, like, and it's got to go. It has to be. And she's like, and I love that it's literally radio, like it's frequency that is going into it to like get it to go.
Yeah.
You know, I think that there are ways to look at, yes, all of these things your body does wild shit. We need the medical science to come in and help us with it. But like really examining the why and the what and what it could possibly mean really does help heal you, I think.
Absolutely. And it's all of it is like, I think integrative with everything, like integrated medicine, integrated spirituality, and really honoring like the physical and the invisible at the same time is the most grounded and profound way to deal with life and existence. I mean, I always joke about like how I even got into a lot of this stuff it was purely selfish motivation. I mean, I was like, why am I like this?
Yeah.
Right.
Like looking for your own answer, right?
Yeah. It wasn't to help people. It was literally
like it was not altruistic. It was literally to help myself.
It wasn't altruistic at all. Yeah. It was literally because I could not figure out why I was so different, and not because of like, oh, I needed to be special, but like, I was like, I would ask my mother daily, like, who left me here? You got the wrong kid. Like, I did not look like anyone. I didn't think like anyone. I didn't act like anyone. It was very alarming. So, I actually overdosed at 18. And when I was in treatment, I started learning how to make charts. And I got a deck of cards from my adopted dad's mom. Like she gifted me this tarot deck. And I was like, okay, like I need to figure some stuff out. And again, it's that thing of like, it's going to find you if it's going to find you. But I also am a believer in, we have so much information now that things that used to be set in stone or fated, we have the power now. We have the knowledge, we have the information to change our realities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I feel like imagination, like I think that people think of like creativity and imagination as this like talent that people have. But I really think of imagination as like putting out there what is possible. You know what I mean? Like once something is imagined, it's practically real for me, because if you can imagine it can be, you know?
Right. And the thing that people do is they tell you they're not visual or they can't imagine it. And I say, I challenge you. For the people who say, I'm not visual, I can't imagine it, I ask them, can you visualize your bathroom? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, can you see where the sink is? If I ask you, can you see where the toilet is? They're like, yeah. I go, there you are, visual.
Right.
Yeah, you can visualize it.
Yeah.
That's
really
actually a great.
That's
so
really
yeah,
interesting.
anyone listening who's like, I can't do that. Yes, you can.
Right. And that's
Yes,
the hardest
you can.
part is when we say it's because we can't see it. And that's always something I recommend to people too, when they are doing like rituals or manifestations, right? And they say, because a lot of times we're asking for things that perhaps we have not had in our lives. Right. So if you can't imagine yourself with it, you're not going to manifest it. So I always say, I would like to call this in or something better than I can imagine. And, like tap that, like, because a lot of times if it is something that I've not experienced, how can I imagine it? So why not ask?
How could you even know? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. Okay, wait. So you have a couple, let's just plug your workshops so that people can, because we should. You know,
yeah,
because you're an incredible teacher and you also do readings, but I don't know if your books, I don't know how you're doing that now because you were taking a break for a while.
Yeah. And I open them and I close them again. And I have a few things coming up. I'm going to Denver this coming weekend for a big INATS International New Age Trade Show with my publisher, Union Square & Co. And I'm doing a deck signing and some talks, and I'm teaching spiritual fitness for magical people on Friday.
That sounds fun.
A place called For Heaven's Sake. Yeah, it's really fun. And then I have a few classes coming up in LA in person, which I'm excited about because I haven't done too many in-persons in a while. So there's a place called Open Eye Crystals in Mid-City that I am teaching. I'm doing cord cutting 101 meditation class June 25th.
That's my birthday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yay. And then And then I have a past life healing workshop there in July. It's going to be a past life healing meditation to find one of your past lives that's affecting you today. And then a couple weeks later, I'll be doing a first incarnation meditation, which I really am stoked on because it's a meditation where we go back to your very first like imprint as an energy or a person or a being and find out what your soul's first imprint and purpose is to see where you're related to that now.
Oh, I want to do that.
That's so cool. I want to do that too.
Yes, that one is in July. I can't remember right now. They're both on a Saturday in July. But yeah, I signed with a publisher after self-publishing my decks for 9 years. And I had done a small run with a small publisher of one book. But this publisher, I got an agent. This is the whole thing. This is all new. Like,
right.
You know, especially if you're like, I need an agent. What? An agent? I'm so used to doing things myself. And I got this agent and she got me in some pitch meetings. And then they were like, well, we want to reboot like all your decks. And would you write a book? So Sacred Symbols came out. Roast Iconic just came out. And then in the fall, my tarot deck, the Dreamer's Tarot, which is a non-binary archetypal tarot deck, totally inspired by the teens that I worked with over the years. Their input made a major impact in creating something that felt relevant to them and accessible. That's coming out in September. And then Nature Nurture, which is my animal oracle, Nature Oracle is coming out in the spring. And then Healing the Liminal is my book, which comes out in the fall of 2024. Oh my gosh,
that's so exciting.
I'm so excited about this. I feel like it's one of those things where you go, okay, like this is why I was born.
Yeah.
I have, because of the diversity within my own bloodlines and in my practices, I've often found that like there's no place for me in a lot of traditional places. And it's been very hard, like, in terms of identity and figuring out where to fit in. And I found that I keep meeting people that are having the same issue. And so the book is basically kind of like a format and a framework for healing for yourself and your ancestral origins, but also for anyone who doesn't feel like they fit in. And it's supplemented by a number of stories. They're all parables that are channeled. There's some personal stories about me, which you can tell, but then there's channeled stories. I channeled my ancestors and wrote these parables.
Oh my God.
And yeah, like they were coming through me when I was doing it, like to the point where I would write a story and I'd be like, okay, I can't do anything for a week now.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I have like a big vision and I'm like, is it too like cocky to say this out loud? But I'm like, I'd love to see these like stories as like little mini series.
Yeah.
Say it.
Let's manifest it.
I just like, I feel it. I'm like, okay, well, there's one chapter it said it would be like, I want Jordan Peele to direct that. I love it. Like, I feel like, different like kind of variations of these things. But I really hope that it becomes kind of, I want to teach from it. I want to like people to, I hope it holds space for people in a way that maybe they haven't been held.
I mean, it sounds incredible and I can't wait. You'll have to come back and talk to us again when the book comes out.
Yeah.
And you've signed the deal with HBO.
I know. I know. I was thinking about it. I was like, I have big visions for this like book, and I can see it. Like I can see like it hitting people in a different way because there's certain things, there's like stories within the stories. And
yeah.
It was also really fun to write in this way.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's great.
I love that. I can't wait to read it. I'm so excited. Yay.
Congratulations on having such a big time in such a weird time. It's just like a weird time in the world and the universe, but you're over here like firing on all cylinders and just so happy for everything you have going on.
Thank you. I'm just like, so I do feel really grateful. I'm blessed to exist in this like weird time and space. And, you know, when I went to Egypt, I was able to do like rituals, but like put prayers down for not just myself, but like for collective. And like, I don't think people realize that there are a lot of people out there who are doing magic that it's not just selfish. Like, yes, I do have some selfish things that I like, would like, you know, basic care and in a place to live. That's nice. But, you know, I'm climbing around the Great Pyramid and putting prayers down in the belly of it. And then at the top and laying in a sarcophagus and singing. Like, I'm not doing that just for me.
Right.
I'm doing that because the world needs healing. And if we can be more mindful of that in our day to day. And I think I love that you two do that here each week. And in not just on this podcast, you do it in your day to day when people may not see you, you know? So it's just know that it's appreciated on so many levels.
Oh, Marcella, we love you so much.
Yeah, we really do. And I'm so glad that you were able to be here today.
I'm so glad. Look, I'm all like, I'm
getting teary. Oh.
I love that. Oh my God, I love that you cried. Is that so weird that I love that you cried?
No, I do. Weird. I'm also like, you know, I'm annoyingly a Pisces, so I'm like,
you're made of water.
Water, fire. It's like so annoying. It's like all Pisces, Aries. It's super annoying.
I'm Cancer, Leo.
See, you get it. That water,
I do.
fire. Oof.
I know. That's why we get each other, I think.
Totally.
Truly. Well, have the most beautiful rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Follow Marcella, Saved by the Spell, on Instagram. She does amazing readings for everyone all the time. And it always makes my day when it comes across my feed.
Oh, thank you, Casey. I love our New England connection.
Yes.
It's a special connection. I think the New England thing. I get very excited when I meet other people who I'm like, oh, you get it.
I understand that because I have a different thing with the Southwest. Anytime I meet someone who's from New Mexico or Arizona, I'm like, you get it.
Totally.
You get it.
Totally. Oh my God. So good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You guys are the best. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on,
Marcella.
and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
It's cold in my room.
It is so cold in LA. It's like June gloom is.
Ugh, I hate June gloom. I talked so much about my week and the moon and my everything. How have you been doing? What's your week been?
I mean, honestly, I couldn't believe it was Tuesday already and that we were recording the podcast again. I felt like we just had done it like the day before yesterday or whatever. So I don't even know.
That's so funny because to me, this was like the longest fucking week of my life.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah. It felt like it was like 3 months.
Somehow this week went by so quickly. The main thing for me that's going on in my life right now is that like I have, and I hate saying this, I'm just going to be honest. Like I know I try to be all like positivity about everything, but like I have started to have hot flashes, which I hate saying. I just do. I don't want to be the age of a person who has hot flashes, but I am. So let's just like be real about it. My hot flashes are like a Kathy cartoon, you know, when she like squirts out
she's
sweat.
like, ah!
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it's like for me. And so like I certainly have seen women that I think are suffering from hot flashes that are debilitating to them. I'm just like, it's uncomfortable for like a couple moments and then like I just get on with my business. But what I've also been having is like just being overcome with like shivers and chills and things like that. And at first I was like, fuck, I have COVID again. Or like, is this like a weird rebound from having hot flashes? I was trying to figure it out like as no illness developed. No. Did you know that menopausal women also have cold flashes? Never fucking heard a thing about it in my life. Never heard about it one time.
Me neither.
But cold flashes are a thing.
Wait, also, can I just say, hold on. Didn't Oprah just come out with a book about menopause? Did I make that up or is it coming out?
I don't know.
Okay. We have to look on her Instagram, but she literally had an announcement. I'm almost positive, Case.
Okay.
She had an announcement that was like, hold up. Oprah. Okay, 2 new posts. Here we go.
Live the best life they can, because I'm living a pretty good life. But I got to tell you, when I was going through menopause, there was nowhere to turn. I mean, I went from doctor to doctor to doctor, 5 different doctors. I thought I was dying. And so one of the things we've done at Oprah Daily is put all the menopause information that we think can be meaningful and helpful to you in one place. So you go to oprahdaily.com, buckle up, because things are about to get weird if you're hitting your 40s, some people even earlier. And we have a test to take to see what are the symptoms, whether you're in your 40s, your 50s, or your 60s, a little quiz.
Oprah looks great, by the way.
Happy 40th
Yeah.
birthday. Now read this, what to expect going ahead. Hormones versus no hormones.
Okay, so I guess it's a new thing.
Wish someone had given to me when I was going through the change. So
She really does look fucking amazing. Okay, so go to oprahdaily.com.
Okay,
It does sound like they're advertising on this podcast. They're not. Just so you guys know, we're not getting a fucking cent for this. But I did literally just see it like
That's
this
wild.
morning. And so it obviously was meant for me to tell you
I mean, I
about.
feel like it's a thing that people are talking about.
Thank God. More.
Thank God. And I give Stacey London, our friend Stacey London,
So much credit.
so much credit for that, for starting the conversation. All that being said, in all the recent talk and the more frequent talk, never heard that you could get cold flashes and the chills and goosebumps from fucking menopause. So I've been having alternate hot flashes and cold flashes
I hate
because
this.
of course, because I have to have like a special extra
Yeah, of
one.
course. Obviously.
And so my whole life has just trying to be comfortable everywhere. Like poor Matt, our room, I make him open the windows and it's very cold here at night still in Los Angeles. So it's like freezing in our room. And then we're bundled up with covers, but then I'm like throwing the covers off. And like I get up to
Okay.
pee, full pees 3 times a night.
No.
Even though I try to like, empty my bladder before bedtime. I don't know how I'm getting full pees 3 times per night.
I don't know.
It's all just a lot. And like, to his credit, he's just like, what would be the best for you? Like, what is, how many blankets on the bed? What would work? I'm looking at, also not an advertiser, but I'm looking at this thing called a bed jet, which is like a fan that blows into like a sheet that like blows on you.
You gotta stop. That's insane.
It's kind of pricey, but I'm like, would this help me? Would this help me not like have
Wait, I'm dying.
3 temper tantrums in
dying.
bed every night? I mean, I don't know. It's pricey, but that might be like I might be saving up for a bed jet, and I'll report back to you on how the bed jet works. Or you know what I'll probably try to do? I'll probably try to rig something up with like some things I got at Home Depot, and then
Well, I know you. I know you love to MacGyver a situation.
and then it'll be like such a disaster. Like a fan will like chop up my foot in the night or whatever because of something that I tried to rig up in my bedroom. But
Let's not do that. But also there's like, you could get one of those dog cooling beds that you fill with water. And then you could just put it under, you could put it on in between your sheet. And
the thing is I'm so particular about my bed and like the texture of my bed. So this is just like a real fuck you to me. I really liked how my bed was and I thought it was perfect. And now I'm like unhappy in it because of this bullshit.
well, here's the good news. This is a season. It's not the rest of your life. So you're just unhappy for a season.
I did look it up. The season can last anywhere from like a year to 11 years. So at first when I saw a year, I was like, I can do anything for a year.
I'm dying.
I can do anything. But 11 years?
I'm dying.
No.
That's insane.
No.
No one can do anything. That's too long. I'm going to tell you something. 11 years? Too fucking long. It's not going to be 11 years. I'm giving you 3.5. That's it.
Oh my God. But it's really like not to be.
I'm giving you 2.5 to 4.
And you're
gonna nail it.
I have said a million times, like I really hate when people can't acknowledge the reality of something just because they haven't experienced it and they can't take other people's word for it. So here's me saying, like, not that I never took any other woman's word for like what hot flashes were like. I mean, and you know, I watched the Golden Girls, obviously many jokes about hot flashes, but like I wasn't not believing it. I just wasn't living it. You know, I wasn't paying it any mind. And I wasn't thinking about like, oh shit, this is going to happen to me one day. And like TikTok, you know, it's coming, but it's here. And it really is fucking miserable. It's like, it's a perfect combination of, because
I'm so sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to laugh.
It's a perfect combination because you know me, like I would rather be in pain. Like I would rather be recovering from like a broken bone than handling discomfort for a couple minutes. You know what I mean?
You know, it's the same as, that's what Mark has always said about me.
Yeah.
He was like, you took that fucking, those tools through your neck like a champ.
Right.
But like, truly, when I get a slight cold, I am impossible to be around.
Exactly. Same thing. Anything. Miserable. Anything that has to do, especially with like from the neck up for me. But this is just like a whole body discomfort. And also, I really hate things that are unpredictable. And I hate things that I'm not in control of. Yeah.
Part to me, when I think about it, is like not knowing when it's going to hit you would drive me batty.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, mine are just like little Kathy squirts or whatever, you know, like my best.
Yeah.
My best friend from high school told me that she had a hot flash. She came to Cape Cod to like help me with my mom's place. And she and her husband were saying she had a hot flash while she was on a conference call on the way there. And like she almost had to get off the phone because like it seemed like she was having like a terrible allergic reaction to something.
Because she turned bright red?
Yeah, she turned bright red and she was like drenched in sweat. And so she's obviously pretty new to this game as well. And so like that sounds much more severe than what I'm dealing with right now. But I just hate the discomfort, unpredictability, and my lack of control in the situation. And I also hate that I got the fucking phantom menopause chills. What the fuck is that? Literally, here's what I will say. Other women, I've never heard any of you mention it before.
So if you do get it, please someone reach out to Casey and just be like, yeah, sorry, I never mentioned it, but yes.
I mean, no one has ever mentioned it. And I'm like, is every woman just walking around getting these random chills between hot flashes and thinking that they're crazy? Is that it?
Here's what I need you to do. I'm going to need you to do this. I need you to sign up for the Oprah Daily. I need you to get into her menopause guide. I feel like it's probably pretty thorough.
Yeah.
It seems like if she's going to do it, it'll be good.
I hope so.
I mean, I've always liked her favorite things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe this
true.
is like the favorite things of menopause.
Yeah.
So
Oprah's least favorite things.
Yes. Yes. But I mean, again, I'm going to say she looks fucking amazing now.
She does. She does. Yeah, she always looks good. She's got
I just mean like her skin, her hair. She has
like, a great pit crew working
glowing.
For her.
I know. I get it.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna put some money away for that bed jet to maybe try that bed jet. And then I'm gonna also like put some money away for like some cosmetic things, I feel like, because like I feel like if I'm getting the hot flashes and the cold flashes, everything else is going to fall apart real fast.
Here's what I'm going to say too, though. I do know Naomi Watts has a skincare line now that's menopause driven. No,
okay,
whatever. Inspired by menopause. Inspired by menopause. I swear she does. She's got like a line, I believe. I don't know if it's skin. It's like a whole line of things.
Okay.
Stacey's line, I liked those products.
Yeah, they're great stuff.
By the way, can I just tell you something? Not a great, easily Googleable name for a company because it's like Connecticut.
Well, I think you have to put state of menopause in like quotation marks. And
I know I'm doing that. Oh my God, they sell it on HSN.
Oh, great. Okay.
Amazing.
All right.
Okay. So, but then also Naomi Watts. Stripes, a Naomi Watts brand.
Okay. Now, is this stuff for like to make your face look better, or is it stuff to make your body more comfortable?
I mean, her face looks great.
Yeah, her face looks great.
Menopause solutions from scalp to vag. Stripes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
I am into that. I love it. I love that that's what they say, that's their line, from scalp to vag. But it should be like for scalp, from scalp to toes and the vag in between. I don't know. You know what I mean? All I'm saying is like, oh my God, wait, you guys, I'm so sorry. This is not, again, not an ad, but Stripes will take it if you'd like to be in, because their top seller, Vag of Honor.
Wow, that's a good product name.
It is fucking funny. Yeah, hydrating face. They've got face stuff. They've got thickening hair masks.
Okay.
They've got body oil. They've got it all. They've got it all.
Well, here's what I will say. All of these products all seem great, but I'm also like gonna prepare for some like heavy duty clinical interventions, because creams can only do so much. You know, it's like the talk that we were just having about like spiritual versus science, you know, like creams are like spiritual, you know, those are things that you can do for yourself, but sometimes you got to go science, you know,
I hear you.
You got to get something shot into
I get
something.
it. But don't go crazy, you know, because let's not have a
crazy.
hormonal reaction.
Yeah,
And-
I'm ready to like maybe a little laser, maybe a little Botox.
Well,
I've never done Botox. So,
You don't need it.
I have some things.
Okay.
Well, you'll see me in person soon, and then you'll be able to tell. You'll tell me what you think.
I mean, will I?
About my face.
I don't know. I will. I'll be honest with you. I will be honest with you.
And that's not saying that anyone has to do anything to their face. It's just like my face is like my thing. That's the thing that I'm like most comfortable with that I have. And so I just want to keep it how it is for as long as I can, you know?
Keep it how it is for as long as you can.
What are you doing your best at this week?
Oh my God. I don't know. I'm trying to like, as this life goes on, I'm really having a hard time picking what I'm doing my best at this week. Every week.
Well,
is
maybe
hard
that's
for me.
because you're doing your best at so many more things than you used to.
Oh.
Maybe there was only ever one thing that you could pinpoint, but now it's just like you're just mostly doing your best.
I think I'm doing my best a lot. Like I think I'm doing my best a lot. I don't know.
Well, you're packing up your apartment.
I kind of didn't. I had Kirsten reach out to some PAs from Girls Five Eva who I know are not working because of the strike.
Right.
And I just paid them to do it.
Okay. Well, you got it done though.
Yeah. I just felt like that was like a better use of my energy and money.
That is good.
You know what I mean? Like I was like,
Yeah.
This is actually like, it's a good thing. These wonderful kids who worked on my show are like not able to get production jobs right now.
Yeah.
They're out of work. I would like my stuff moved from one apartment to another. We got furniture movers, but like I trusted the PA girls with, you know, my clothing and my
Pots,
crystals.
pans, dishes, crystals, all that stuff.
And the pots and pans and dishes too, yeah.
That's
Anyway,
great.
so delegating. There, I'm doing my best at delegating. I'm doing my best at trying. Oh, you know what?
What?
I am trying to do my best this week about at deciphering like what's for me and what's not.
Okay.
And that includes packing and moving that apartment.
That's really, I think like knowing yourself is really, it's everything. Like you can't know anything else unless you know yourself.
That's it.
And I think
is it.
It goes along with everything that we've been talking about, like pinpointing your feelings, stopping to take an inventory, listening to your intuition, and just knowing like, this is not me, and I'm not in this place right now where I'm going to pack this box. Do I have the money to pay someone who needs the money to do it? Yes. Great.
Guess what? I do.
And that was your situation, and you just like went forward with it and didn't beat yourself up over it, didn't avoid the question. I think it's all good. I think that's proud of you for doing that.
Thank you.
And also, I just got a bunch of Google alerts about people really picked up on you commenting on Leonardo DiCaprio's newest girlfriend.
I'm sorry. I literally saw the picture. Okay. Can I tell you two things? Two things that happened. I thought I had posted it to close friends.
Oh, and well,
I didn't. Because I normally try to just steer clear of that shit, guys, because it's like just no point. There's just no point.
Right. It's just, it's going to keep happening.
And I know like somebody told me like people were getting mad at me because I was like, they're like, you're infantilizing a woman who's 21 or.
Did the batteries just die?
I don't know what the fuck, guys. It's the universe telling me not to talk shit about Leonardo DiCaprio, I guess. I wasn't even talking shit. Like, I just literally, it like struck me. And I have cut to me dating like a 28-year-old. I don't fucking know. I can't say, you know what I mean? Like, I can't say.
Right.
I guess, he's what, like 50-ish almost? I don't know how old he is.
I think
he's very close to 50-ish.
According to Lainey Gossip, she's not dating Leo. She's dating one of his crew.
The Pussy Posse?
No, I think the crew of his yacht.
Oh, got it. Oh,
maybe
bless.
he calls
okay.
I could be reading
No.
wrong.
Don't you remember that like the name of his like guy friends was the Pussy Posse?
His guys were called the Pussy Posse.
Oh, okay. I don't know. It was just, I saw it on Just Jared and it was like Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend.
Right.
That's how she was identified. And I was like, oh my God, that girl looks like Birdie's age. Jesus.
Right.
Like, just like, and I meant to put it to close friends, guys. I didn't mean to post it to the general public. And then when I realized that I had, it was like so many hours later.
It was too
that
late.
It had been seen by everybody. And then I just deleted it because I was like, I'm like not here for this fucking stupidity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the truth is that occasionally I get like a little snarky about pop culture stuff, but I'll just do it to my close friends.
Right.
Sorry. I'm sorry. You listen, I would include all of you in that, but here's the fucking deal. I can't trust
then it winds up
gossip sites.
Then it winds up on The Mirror, Lainey Gossip, and my
Don't
favorite.
tell me. That makes me
Google
so uncomfortable.
Alert. It wound up on Market Research Telecast.
I mean, but like to what end? Why? Who cares, guys? Like literally who cares?
I'm convinced that all of this stuff is just AI generated, that just bots are skimming Instagram and like whipping up stories about it to put in various magazines.
Well, someone said that it was on Reddit, like a Reddit thread that somebody posted on Reddit and then was like annoyed at me about it. Like also come on.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, who cares?
Just don't.
Truly.
Yeah. Just. But anyway, I noticed it. I got some Google alerts about it. I have a Google alert about you. I was, I think Leo's gonna be okay. I don't think his feelings are hurt by an Instagram story that you did, regardless of whether or not he's dating this woman, because there's a history there.
Well, I mean, yeah, doesn't he date women that are like very young?
Well, supposedly people say that like he only dates women under 25. Like that's a thing that people say about him. I don't know if it's true.
How old is he?
Leonardo DiCaprio is 48 years old.
Okay.
So, maybe it's just time to move on. Time to, I don't know. I don't know what he's looking for. Leonardo DiCaprio, if you want to come on the podcast and talk to us about what you're looking for and why you're looking for it in such young women, I'd be interested to know. Like, I don't know.
I don't know if I am. Wait, but to be real,
let me rephrase it. I can pretend to be interested in hearing about it.
Like, I know that this is a thing, right? Like, men, I know it's a thing. We know it's a thing. We know it's a thing. I had a friend when I was in my 20s whose father had married a woman who was younger than her.
Yeah.
And they had a new baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that is a thing that happens, I guess.
Yeah. Also, I mean, if Leonardo's listening, I don't know that this will happen to him, but I have known, and this is weird too, because it's like someone that I kind of knew who's also a performer, which is why I'm going to sort of just, and it's nobody that you're guessing, but they also were like a younger woman type of person. And also like a performer, you know, other performers, whatever, but always like known for dating younger women. But there also came a moment when it turned, and that person thought that they were still dating younger people, but the younger people were all like, ew. Because not only was like that person a little bit older than they had been just a few years ago when they were still too old to be dating younger people, but then there came a time when like their relevance waned a little bit at the same time that their age went up, and they were still like going after these really young women who again were also in the business. And all I was ever hearing was like, ew. Like sometimes they'd be like, it was so cute. He was hitting on me. And he thought like, honestly, that I would like go out with him. And then other people were like, ew, it was so disgusting. He was trying to like get me to go out with him. And I'm like, dude, you're older than my dad. So that, I'm not saying that that will happen to Leonardo DiCaprio, but I have seen it happen to others.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just not much to, there's not much to say. It's a known story.
Well, I'm sorry to this man. I'm sorry to this lady that I don't know. I just took Jared's word for it. I don't know. I didn't do my own research, and I guess that's the issue. That, and that I accidentally posted it to everybody and not just my close friends, which is what I meant to do. Mostly because I thought it was like crazy that I felt like she looked like Birdie, and I was like, whoa, that's nuts. Like, and I'm not infantilizing that girl, and I'm not sexualizing my own kid. Like, I'm just saying, like, that is it's just
Jared.
It's just Jared, guys. Whatever. I guess I didn't do my best at that. So sorry.
Well, you got on that market research website, so you know. I am doing my best at. I'm just going to tell you. I'm not going to beat around.
I asked you, and then we went on the Leo tangent.
I was like, I'm just going to bring it up because
you did. You really just went for it. I was like, I've had the most traumatic week, and then you're like, and also I got a Google alert.
I made a decision to because like getting your haircut is super expensive in Los Angeles and anywhere, and like I had been going to this one place that I really liked, and then they kind of like, has a hair salon ever broken up on you? Like, not broken up with you, but like the salon breaks up, like the management and the hair cutters like go their separate ways.
Yes, actually, that's happened multiple times. I feel like it's a tricky biz. I think it's a hard biz. The beauty biz.
And that was kind of like a reasonable place that I was going. A reasonably priced place that I was going, and I liked the theme, which is also important to me. Liking the theme of a hair salon, then I sort of was like still sometimes going to this one hair cutter. But then, like, I hope she's not listening, but also, like, it's just the truth. Like, she cut my hair this one time, and I was just like, what? Like, it was, like, from another era. Like, the haircut just felt like it didn't work for me. And I didn't know that there was any, like, fixing it. And I was like, Has this also happened to you? Like you've gotten your hair cut like many, many times by a person and it's always great. And then just one time it's not great.
No.
You've never had that. I've had it happen.
I don't really get my hair cut.
Yeah. You just get it like trimmed or whatever. So that happens. It's like getting an eggshell in your eggs. Like it's a long time before you can eat eggs again. You know what I mean?
Oof.
And
okay, that's a very interesting. Yeah, got it. Okay. That gave me an insight, a real fucking insight, I feel like.
So I was like, I have to get a new hair cutter. And I went to this place and it was so great, but it was like kind of really out of the way and like hard to find. But also it was pretty pricey. Like it was pricey compared to like the hair cutter before. Anyway, all this to say, she did a beautiful job, this new person. But I was just like, but I think if I'm going to have shorter hair, I want to maintain it more often. And that's not like an amount of money that I can invest into getting my hair cut every couple of months. So I just bit the bullet and I went to like a chain hair cutter, like crossing my fingers that they could follow the haircut, the really good pricey haircut that I had gotten many months hence at this point. And I just went to like a chain hair cutter and did a walk-in and I was like, whatever, it's just hair. Like, Lord knows I do inadvisable things to my hair all of the time. And so I just went in, did a walk-in. They sat me down at Gary's station. Gary was like, what do you want? Angled bob? And then I was like, yeah. And then he just said, have you ever been here before? And I said, no. And he said, don't worry, you're going to like it. And then he just cut my hair and he didn't say another fucking word and it came out fine.
Gary, you did the Lord's work, my friend.
He did the Lord's work.
Fucking Lord's work, my friend.
And I gave him like a hefty tip. That. And it was literally a third of the base price.
I love it.
The last haircut I got. So that's what I
love, Gary.
I just embraced getting my haircut, jumping in with 2 feet at an unknown entity, and the universe provided me with Gary. And
now I'm wondering where Gary is and if I need to cut my hair. I feel like I need to cut my hair again and to make it shorter.
I would pay money to take you to this place and videotape your face as you're getting your haircut. Gary trying to make chit chat with him, and he's like,
"No way."
He's like, "I just talked to you for like one sentence at the beginning, and that's all I'm getting paid for."
No, I mean, I just feel like, couldn't I just cut my own hair? How hard is it?
Probably. I mean, Matt's cut my hair like pandemic during.
Wait, by the way, hairdressers, don't come for me. Just don't fucking come for me.
We're not saying
I know
cut
how
our
hard
own
it
hair
is.
well. We're saying could we cut our own hair? Yes.
I'm not going to do it. It's
why
not
I love-
advisable. It's not for me. It's not for me.
There's this one guy, and I always want to be careful when I mention like a TikToker or whoever, because then a million people are like, that person's problematic. But there's this hairstylist guy that's on TikTok and Facebook and everything, Brad Mondo. Have you ever run across him?
No.
He always like posts reaction videos of himself like reacting to people's like at home hair fails and their like hair color fails and everything. And he's really cute. He's like I think he's like a very young millennial or something. But anyway, he always posts reaction to people cutting their own hair at home, and he's always so scared. But then he's always like, it looks so good in the end. And he like really never shames anyone for breaking down and cutting their own hair unless they really truly have gone awry, you know? So I'm going on record as saying I don't know of Brad Mondo. I don't know him personally. I don't know if he's ever done anything problematic. I don't think he has, but I really like his videos. And I think that he's like, it's just hair. He has the same attitude toward hair that I do. Like,
I mean, it's going to grow. You know what I mean? It'll be fine.
Yeah. So.
Well, I won't cut my own hair, guys. Don't worry about it.
I mean, it doesn't look that bad, right? You're seeing it now.
Your hair looks great.
It's all right. Like, he took a good couple inches off of it. It's just a bob. It's not brain surgery.
Yeah. I mean, no, it looks great. I think Gary did an excellent job.
Yeah. You know.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to go and think about cutting my hair. I was literally just like, should I text Matthew? He lives near me and see if he wants to come over and cut my hair. Should I do it? Should I cut it a little bit shorter? I just feel like, you know what I feel like? I'm in this in-between length now.
Right. I was going to say, it feels like almost kind of quite short for you right now. Like,
Wait,
I feel
do you remember that I cut it short?
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's quite short for a length for you.
No, but remember that in like January before the whatever those awards were that I went with Michelle? I cut my hair short?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I was like, well, now it's long enough that I can like put it up easily on top of my head.
But I still feel like it's quite short for your usual length. Like it hasn't,
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think, but it's like breaking, it's breaking the waves. It's breaking my shoulders, you know?
Right.
So I feel like it's like neither here nor there. That's the part that I like is annoying me this second. Is like I feel like it should just be like
longer,
a little bit shorter. I think it should be short. I mean, just for summer.
Yeah.
Just make it kicky for summer. I don't know. Okay. You guys.
All right. Well,
we love you. Who knows what's going to happen? Your hair looks great.
With our hair, with
shout
our
out.
lives.
With our lives, with the moon. Guys.
And we're just remembering the snake shedding its skin.
Transmutation.
And
I'm going to transmute some shit today.
Hopefully we'll all have a transmutational week.
I think we are. I actually think we are. I think we're doing it. And I know that we're doing our best. Thanks, guys. Have a great one. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you. Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh, no.